Hello, everyone, and welcome to this A2 match of the American Rishi Mahjong League. This is Korak. I'm joined by Michael. How are you doing, Michael?
Doing pretty well this evening. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Looking forward to some good Mahjong. As you can see, we have the top two currently in the A2 division with Zilong and Kaz fighting off for that top spot, and then a pretty big jump until you get to third. So, whoever wins these two matches, or at least results better, is very likely to be the leader going into the midway point of the season. On the other hand, you have Christian and June trying to stay out of that demotion zone going into the halfway point. And Christian, of course, has a little bit of a buffer. June is in there, but only 7.7 back of Dustin. So plenty of space. And even so, we're still talking the halfway point. Anything jump out at you on these stats?
Let me look. Let's see. Actually, for being such a dominant player, Zilong's participation rate is a little bit lower than I might expect with
Well, when you have an 18% call rate,
call
that'll
rate.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple players in B1 that have a low call and high Ricci rate as well. Oh, it looks like we're starting. So
Yeah, we have a start here. Dealer is Christian, has not much. Kanchan, potentially Richie Pinfu. Love to pull an Adora, maybe shift to Tanya later. On the right, Pinfu, maybe an Itsu and Mon. Decent shapes, a little too many pairs, so three of those. Across the way, definitely a Pinfu hand. But you need to fill in that Penchon on the So tiles with the 8-9. On the left, we have a Chun Call, and that just looks like a call and go type hand. I don't see any value here, although it could accept Dora later.
yeah, Zilong's hand's pretty good, but doesn't need that Dora, and it's just gonna have to draw it themselves.
Well,
Um,
there's one of them as dealer
oh,
pulls one in. Draw.
I
Just
ho-
throws it back. You could have thrown the 9 pin and just gone a little more aggressive towards the Tanya. Instead, takes the wider acceptance.
yeah, I'm not sure how I would weigh that Ryankon versus better Tanyao chances.
Well, it's one of those things where you're gonna feel it was wrong until you draw the 8. Then you're like, "This is the best idea ever."
Yeah, I can see that.
Meanwhile, we have an Ishantan on the left, and on the right, June's hand starting to come together. Ishantan across the way as well, but that will be guaranteed bad weight. Oh, a little bit unfortunate for Christian. Fills in the shape, but will not be able to use the Dora most likely. And there it is, Tempai,
Oh, yeah,
Ricci,
that has to
and
come out.
yeah, I think you should Ricci this. Ricci, potentially Tanya on the 4. There are three fours in hands, though, so seems unlikely. One left in the wall. Two 1 pin left in the wall, though, but that would just be Ricci Nomi.
Yeah, I suppose that if you are Christian and you see this, you're not that happy about it, but it is second row and you feel like maybe you don't have another choice.
And dealer Ricci, good weight. You'll take it almost every time. Plus, you
Yeah,
have the
for
potential for
sure.
the Tanya. Ricci, Sumo, Tanya, and Ura would be there, or you get super lucky, hit your Ura 3, although I don't think that's possible. I think all the Tumon are accounted for.
Let's see.
But even so, oh, there's the first of the winning tiles. There are now two left, 1-1 and 1-4. It looks like everyone's basically folding at this point.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting option. Could have an Ishanten on the right. Oh, there's another one. So now just one 4 pin left, unless it gets thrown by someone else.
I suspect it won't.
It seems unlikely. There is a chance this 4 could come out on the right, but that seems unlikely.
Yeah, I expect the one. Oh, okay. Six is I guess I expected the one so to come out first, but
I can see Kaz here is just terrified of that 4/7 Mon. So otherwise could have been to Tempai and I believe would have won this hand, but that does look scary with a Dora Ricci.
yeah. And you didn't know until just now that that Tsuji was not in play, so
And will be one player Tempai, and Christian will net 2,000 points and have another dealer turn. Starts off with a pretty good hand here. Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, maybe an Ipeco. On the right, we have the pair there of South. Now an Anko of South, that is a Yakuai. Maybe even a potential shift to Honitsu, has a Dora in that hand. Lots of potential there. Shapes aren't great, but you can just call and make a lot of stuff out of that. Across the way, we have looks like a Ricci Pinfu Tanyao type hand, maybe an Ipeco in So. And on the left, 789 Sanchoku. Yeah, I think that's what you go with that hand. The tiles are pretty disconnected. Maybe an Itsu and Mon now, but if you can get that 789, you just call. That'd be your two Han. The question is getting anything else out of this hand.
right. Yeah, I'm interested to see how Kaz plays that because that hand looks like it could be a couple different things.
Ooh, now you can even go Honitsu, although you would like to keep that Dora. Speaking of Honitsu, a little pause there on that four pin. Could
Decides
have called
not
it.
to.
Yeah, I think I like it because of the overlap on the shape that would use that four pin. And again, you always have the Yaku as your backup plan with the South Onko.
Right.
Ooh, that one's a very interesting draw. The question is, do you believe in Itsu? And wow, okay, that is a play for Itsu for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
You still had three pairs, so it's understandable. Does leave a lot of options, and this five bond might come out right here too. Nope, throws the four instead. The five is still a floater, but a pretty good floater for a
Pretty
very wide
good.
Ishan 10. Oh, and there goes the Dora. Dealer is now also perfect Ishan 10 for potentially that Ricci Pinfu Tanya, Ricci Pinfu Dora Ipeco. And there's the two, and we know that five is very likely to come out, and that would be Tempai. But on the other hand, if you just draw the other side, that's one way. Could call this for the one Han Tempai waiting on the five, will do so. Now you cannot realistically call the Hatsu there because
No.
then you would likely end up on the Furi 10.
Yeah, this is a hard commit, and fives are. I mean, it still could come out here. But the long does not look interested in possibly dealing into whatever's going on the left. So
When you see that, you think it should be Junchan with those calls, but it's obviously not. But
oh,
just Sumo,
just
one of the old
sumo.
rules of ARML, will pick up 2,400 points, and now we have a tie for first going into East 2. Dealer has pretty good shapes here. Ricci, Pinfu, maybe a 345 Sunchku, maybe an Itsu in Mon. I really like that hand, even though you do have the annoying 3, 5, 7, 9, and so pull one tile in that force. Oh, that's really annoying.
I
Now,
whenever I get this 13579, I feel obligated to keep it because you know, at least this early because I feel like something's gonna fill in at some
yeah,
point.
you feel it has to, and of course you still aren't even sure what your pair is. So if you draw, say, a one, so you're actually fine with that.
Yeah.
Ooh, a bit of regret now having thrown that one mon earlier. This would be a pretty good Itsu hand now. Regardless, we move on. On the right, we have the pair of East, few other pairs, probably not Chitoy, but not much value here. Across the way, we see two calls already, including the Chun. So also has a
Keeping the
floating Dora.
Yeah, keeping the door around just in case, but
Also has a pair of East. So I think if the East gets called, you then throw the two and the one and just eventually go Dora Donkey. Oh, and there we see that draw of the 4 for the dealer. That's looking like a good hand all of a sudden. And on the left, it looks like a pretty standard Ricci, Pinfu, maybe Dora.
Oh, this is Tenpai, but on a penchant, right? So
Yeah, I'm absolutely
considering,
not taking this one. I'm throwing that
I
back.
don't take it either. I don't think.
This is the Karagiri. This is one of those situations where it's kind of neutral. You're giving up a little bit of information, but you're not Tempai yet, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Of course, the 7 comes out now, but it would be unlikely to have come out if you'd have hit the
Yes,
Ricci button.
right.
Ooh, big improvement across the way. Now accepts that Dora and potentially adds Chanta. That could be a pretty valuable hand.
That
Ooh,
is
dealer
nice.
draws a Dora and does not like it. Maybe going to go for Tanya instead.
June choosing to Katagiri again
Well,
and
I like the
again.
3 Karagiri. Yeah, it seems like it's a habit. It's a bad habit that you're not going to get punished with very often, but then once you do, you will remember it for the rest of your life.
This is
I
not
don't think that's
Tenpai.
Tempai.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's
It's
an
headless.
awkward shape. Potentially 3-sided, but that'd be a 4e10 weight, so probably don't want that. And if you're both Kaz or Zlong, you're going, where are my Easts? I should have been able to call this ages ago.
At this,
And at
when do
this point,
you?
you have to figure this is exactly what's happening. Ooh, Tempai now for dealer.
There we
Could wait
go.
on the Dora Tonki or could take a 4e10 3-sided weight. Will
Decides
Dama
for
on
the
the Dora Tonki.
donkey.
I like this play.
Yeah, I don't mind it. At what point do you decide that you're probably mochi mochi with somebody? Is it the end of the second row?
Well, before that for me, I tend to
Okay.
assume by 7th or 8th turn that there's a good chance someone's either holding it onto it as a quote unquote safe tile until they realize it's not safe anymore, or it's just locked.
Mm,
Chi.
I like the call here on the 8th. This does get you to Ishan 10. You're not going to have a Yaku, but that hand isn't going to finish anyway.
right.
Ooh, one Mon could see. Okay, it's not throw. That is dangerous. Ooh, does get Tempai across the way. Waiting on that one pin or east. 3 of those in Zlong's hand and 1 in the wall. Wait, no, none in the wall. 1 in the left.
Yeah, that's all held. Yeah.
We'll have
Oh,
2
yeah,
players
just
Tempai here, and this will be another East 2. Gets June into second place. Starts off with a pretty good hand here. I think you just go Honitsu with this. Yeah, definitely throwing the 9, so keeping the option open. You draw something else near that 5 pin, maybe you just go more conventional, but that has a lot of value. Well, just as I
yeah,
say that,
I think you just have to play this as Hakudora 1 at this point, maybe.
yes, it feels disappointing. Well, I think you keep the option open for now. I'd be cutting Chun or Hatsu. Cuts the east, but there is one out. So even with the potential of the double, and there's the second one. So it ends
Yeah,
up being the right decision for sure.
right.
On the right, we see it looks like a pretty standard Tanya hand, maybe a long way away from some sort of pair base, but I think you just go Tanya. Across the way, looks like a Pinfu hand, maybe any Peiko in So, and on the left, looks like a Pinfu hand, maybe any Peiko in Mon.
These are all decent hands. I don't know who's going to win out here. Kaz has that penchant that either needs to be
Dealer
filled
is
or.
now Tempai, decides to Dama.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting on the 6, looking for some sort of weight upgrade, maybe some extra value in Mon. Normally, you just hit the button here, given
Yeah,
you already
no.
have a Dora.
Wait, I must be waiting for a weight upgrade before reaching here.
Ooh, that's an interesting tile. Now you definitely got the 7. That's almost the perfect tile. Oh, throws
Ah,
it back. I really don't understand
uh,
what's going on here. You have so many upgrades
Humph.
now. Could also call this and take the 2-5, but this is
yeah,
2,900. You were looking at a lot more value if you get the
it's
6.
it's looking like that's what June is waiting for here.
And the other problem here is if that 4 had been kept, now you would be waiting on the Nobeton 1-4 wait, so you could have Dora 2 here.
That's a good point. That would have been pretty clever, I think.
Oh, that 3 feels so sad because that is Rion Peiko Ishan 10. Oh, and
Humph.
there's the 2 deals in for 3,200. So the 2-5 weight does work out and pushes June to first place. That's a very good starting hand
Yeah,
here.
another
Ricci,
good start
Pinfu,
here.
Tanya, Ipeco. Of course, the 9 Sodora is a little hard to use, but that's a beautiful starting hand. Now you're almost thinking G-Toy with that 9 pair.
I guess you can at least hedge it for a turn or two.
Oh, for sure. On the right, it looks like a Pinfu hand, but feels pretty bad. That 6 helps immensely, though. Across the way, looks like a Pinfu hand as well, but you have 2 Dora, so you're looking for any
Oh,
excuse to
wow,
call.
there it is.
Chitoy Tempai for dealer. I think you Dama here because both these weights are
These are
terrible.
bad wait, yeah, these are pretty bad.
And on the left, a whole bunch of pairs. That is definitely a Chitoy hand as well. Oh,
Not on
that's
door
not any
indicator.
better. Yeah, if that isn't Dora indicator or near the Dora, it's actually a pretty good weight having cut the 7. And people will eventually presume the 8-9 are
Do you
reasonably
take
safe
this
here.
one?
I think you have to.
Not yet.
Besides the Dama, look for a little more value, especially if you can draw the 9, so you're feeling pretty good here. But the later this goes, the worse
I
the
feel like
timing
this is
gets.
when I reach this.
Each.
Yep.
We'll wait on the 1 so. There is 1 out, so 2 left on the wall. No one has any in their hands. Oh no!
How could you know?
Uh, and the interesting thing is that was the last 2 so in the wall.
Oh, so
And there's
now
the aggressive Dora cut. Sees the 7-8 and says, "There's no way that's from 7-8-7-8," and gets away with it. Advances the hand as
mm,
well. That is Ishan 10 for Ricci Pinfu.
I wonder if the one so comes out if either Zalong or Christian.
Well, now it's Kabe. It's going to come out.
Oh, I didn't see. Oh, the two. Yeah, okay, it's totally walled off now. As I was saying that, Kaz discarded the last one there. So
Yeah, it looks very safe here. This is about the only thing it's going to be dealing into, specifically because there's already 1 out there. You see Christian having to make some decision here. You have to float the cheat toy, or are you going to go for the Payco? You're going to play it standard. Throws the 5. This isn't particularly safe. You see the 8 and a couple 4s, so not that bad either.
I can see it as a way to push that hand forward a little bit.
But the real question are where are the 1 so?
It's a good question. I guess there's a decent bit of the wall left.
Well, alternatively, even if you draw it, there's no guarantee it comes out because you might not even notice that there are 4, because those were really early. There it is. We're about to
Mm,
find out. The East will come out first because we know that's 100% safe.
right. It may come out next time around, though.
You don't have any better options. I think that's probably what I would throw. The nine's 100% safe.
Oh,
Uh-oh. I'm getting a little scared because that will be the last discard, and we might see a Hote here.
certainly
Oh, no, there's
possible.
another 4 as well. Will escape. Oh, there's a 1 on the left, though. The 4 is completely safe. The 8 is completely safe. You should throw the 8 every time here. It's safe against everyone.
Oh,
The
yep.
question is, do you push for Tempai? It
Oh,
will. There's the Hote. Richie Hote Chitoi, no
that's
Ura, but
that's
still
incredible.
9,600, and that's really rough. I
Oh,
don't
that
know that I necessarily could have dodged in that position. That's so tempting.
yeah, because you think, oh, that's an easy Tenpai payment there if you looked
Yeah,
around the
it's
board enough.
especially if you kind of you see all the twos are out. The only thing you're going to deal into is that weird Chitoi or some random Shampoo. But the honors look pretty dead at that point. So a bit
Mm,
unfortunate. And now we have June here with a decent starting hand, maybe a Sun Anko for some value, or just Richie Dora because you can't accept the 7 Mon. On the right, that's definitely a Tanya. The question is, can you get more? And a couple more 4 pin, and you can think about Sunjuku Doko, but those are locked up across the way, at least for now, in what
oh,
looks to
yep.
be a Pinfu hand, maybe an Apeco in pin, and on
Oh,
the left, that just looks like a Ricci hand. You'd like to be able to get rid of that 1/2 Mon and turn this into a Tanya, though.
potential. Okay, so June picks up the Dora and has an interesting hand here.
Yeah, I mean, if you draw the 1 pin or 9 pin, I think you just take the Shump on Ricci. You're looking at, oh, Tempai on the right for Tanya, while Dama waiting on 3 pin. But yeah, if dealer draws 1 pin, 9 pin, or one so, it should be potentially Ricci Sumo stun on Kodora.
Yeah, I definitely take that up, that potential.
Oh, that 6 is annoying. Does have to throw the Dora indicator here. Still saying Damo on that 3 pin. Going to be very hard to improve this, though, because that's the most likely tile to draw, and you're
Right.
not going to be able to fit that in.
Yep.
And I don't think the 1300, even with the 900 in the middle, particularly helps you. I think I would have just hit the button a while ago. Well, could see a con
Con
here. This may be a con into
Ricci.
Ricci. And it is. It would be Ricci Tanya, but now with some extra foo. A Roan, I believe, would be 60 foo. Because you do have that extra Onko of Forso and a bad weight.
Oh, yeah. So the the Anko for is 16, and then
Yeah, 16 plus the
plus
4 for the
4 plus
Onko and the
2.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Ooh, could see a call here, but I don't think you want to.
No.
The question is how
Unfortunately,
much you want to push. Yeah, just gives up on
yeah.
the hand now. Honestly, the Forso didn't look that dangerous, but it's how aggressive do you want to be against a Ricci on the table from 4th place. And there's a Dora, could have called it, but would have had to presumably throw the 1 pin later, and that doesn't look particularly safe.
Not on this table, no. Yeah, the the fold from June here makes a lot of sense.
Well, plus, being in 1st place, there's not necessarily a reason to risk it. If you have
No.
a hand that's genuinely worth fighting for, then sure. But you're looking for an Ishan 10 where you're going to have to most likely hit both sets. We do have a Tempai on the left for Ipeco.
Hmm. Decisions.
You throw the 5 Mon. Oh, throws
Okay.
the 4, which is with the 7 having come out and the
The
1, it was
7 and yeah,
Nakasuji. Yeah,
Nakasuji,
so
yep. Makes
certainly
sense.
understandable. And we have one player Tempai as Zilong pulls in a net 2,000. but that increases the home bus, and now we have 2200 in the middle. And he has a great starting end here. This is a call and go. Chun, maybe one Dora. On the right, looks like a Ricci, Pinfu, maybe a Chanta shift, but you would have to get rid of that 4-5. So across the way, looks like a Pinfu. Although that 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4 may make it hard, you just go for Ricci Nomi, maybe Ricci Dora. Definitely Ricci Dora now would be ideal. Pulling in that 4-5 where 3 is the Dora. On the left, we see an East pair and a whole bunch of So tiles, but great floaters outside of that. So maybe just a conventional hand or call the East and go. Maybe not necessarily go after the Honitsu, but seems to be pushing for it.
リーチ、
Pulls in the tune and just goes ahead the Ricci right away.
This would be Ricci Chun Dora, so Sumo would be Mangan minimum. There
Well,
are 3 in the wall, so it's actually a
リー
pretty
チ、
good weight. But will be chased down by a better weight with the 6-9, which also has the advantage of being Gimbutsu to the Ricci, the dealer Ricci, which is always the scarier one. Oh, but that 4, now you have a Suju, that 7 may come out as a result.
maybe yeah, not from one of these two hands, but maybe well,
Depends how much you fold and how much you trust the fold.
that's
But
true.
now that 2 will make the 1 and 2 look very safe. So that gives some extra tiles here. And you're just so tempted to push for this in the middle because there's 4,200 just from the pot. But if you don't have the hand to push, you don't have the hand to push. There's the
ノー、
Oh.
7 will deal in. This is going to be a monster. Oh!
Dora
Oh,
3.
that wasn't what I was expecting to turn into a monster, but
Ouch.
that'll do it. Urasan, 22,000 from that hand. Ooh, that hurts. Especially when you have
And
the better weight and you lose like that, it always feels really rough.
yeah, and all of a sudden, Zilong is back up, not in first, but close enough.
Yeah, very close for first. It was deep in fourth before, and they've definitely switched places. As Christian is now 23,000 behind third place. Ouch. But we have a hand here. Dealer is already Ishan 10 from Ricci, Pinfu, possibly Tanyao. On the right, we have possibly Peiko in So.
リー
And I
チ、
believe that's
Does he just take it
Ishunten.
right away?
Yeah,
7
one
mon
out with the
again.
7. Ricci Tanyao seems good enough to me. You do lose out on the potential for just Dama, but the 7 isn't likely to come out. Maybe across the table if it's drawn, but that would be it. Even if you Dama it. So if there's no benefit to Dama, don't Dama.
Right. Probably
Ooh, but that
feeling
hand
pretty
is so
good.
tempting
リ
to
ーチ、
push now. Especially, yeah. Goes ahead and throws it in. Is Ricci know me? But when you look at the middle and say there was already 2,500 out there, it feels fine. But there is one 7 pin left, and the aforementioned 3-7 Mon are still there in the wall.
Yeah, that's a desperation Ricci, but and it's just not gonna probably. I mean, there's a chance, but very unlikely to work out for Christian there.
3-1 will win 25% of the time, or at least in theory, because some of the times it'll be in the dead wall. But you figure not all 4 of them will be in the dead wall or drawn by the other 2, but it certainly happens.
Right.
Believe me, I've been in that situation. I have 6 outs left. Everything's good. And 15 turns later,
Yeah. Sometimes the dead wall has it out for you. No sign of those tiles quite yet.
yeah, just hard folding from the other players at the table.
Yeah.
It is a one-on-one fight at this point. There's one of the
There it is.
sevens,
There it is. Well, one of them, yeah.
so it's not 2 versus 1.
Sumo.
And there's the sumo, Ricci Sumo.
It spoke too
No
soon.
aura, but you'll absolutely be thrilled with 5,500 to at least mitigate some of the damage and feel a little bit better as you get towards South Round. But it's East 4 now, and Dealer has the double East pair and a
Come.
door already. But the first call here is from Zlong with the North. Yeah, you look at
Great.
this hand for Dealer, and you're absolutely thrilled with it. Call the East, and you already have 3 Han. The floaters aren't particularly what you want at this point, but wow, now you can even add 5, 6, 7
Come.
Sanshoku.
Yeah, you're just feeling a little pressure from Zilong, who's already Ishan there. So
Right. You don't think it's Ishan at this point, but
well, yeah, no, why would you?
exactly. Just has a really good starting hand and says, you know what? I just want to move on to South Round. On the right, eh, not much there. Ricci, maybe any Peiko later, maybe a Chanta shift, but feels really slow. There's the 8 mon for the Dealer. Will also upgrade to Ishan 10. Across the way, we have a Chun Onko. Pretty good shapes everywhere. You want to get rid of that one so here, but you're still going to need a pair, and the only thing that's completed is the Chun. So one of those hands that feels like it should be farther ahead than it is.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's not ahead, it's way behind.
Yeah, it's you don't expect two hands much faster than the one you've got there by turn 6. So
Oh,
that's not the right call here, I don't
I
think.
agree with the 6, and the 6/8 is a good play here. You may con later, but
Not
you figure
now.
you are likely behind because
Mm.
now it is turn 8, and you still now you've completed shapes. Now you're at Ishan 10. You can think about the con. I
Yeah, that's
probably
fair.
would con.
Maybe if I pick up a good tile in Sozu there, I might do it.
Come.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Did
Ooh,
not
that
pick up.
6 is now very
Tsu.
scary. Gee, this will be Dealer Tempai waiting on Forso. As now the 6 is a double Dora. Ooh, and you see one drawn from Zlong, and yeah, I don't think you could throw that.
No,
Even if you get to
absolutely
Tempai, I
not.
don't know that you can throw that.
Ich.
But I think it's going to come out right here.
Long.
And there's the 12,000 point swing. And just like that, causes in first.
Damn. That was a ride.
Yeah. A whole lot of hands that are just waiting to get there, waiting to get there, and then you get there and you deal it on the Ricci tile. It's such a bad feeling. But Dealer has a Pinfu hand that 6 mon. 6 mon helps immensely.
Oh, a ton. Yeah.
This hand was looking pretty grim before that. On the right, well, that hand still looks pretty grim.
Yeah. I think
Penchon,
yeah.
Penchon, Kanchan, floater, floater, one
That's
Ryanman, I guess.
that's just not the kind of hand that you can take to a win here, I don't think.
Across the way, Hatsu pair, decent shapes elsewhere, but feels a little too floater heavy. And on the left, looks like a Ricci Dora hand, maybe a Tanya shift if you can draw a 4. So, well, there's one of the pensions filled on the right
Helps a little bit.
and cuts the other one, says, forget this.
If you can pick up something to fix that 4/6 Kanchan, maybe
Well, if
that
you
hand's
draw the
salvageable.
5, then you're in a
Oh,
headless
sure,
perfect
yeah.
Ishan 10. That'd be ideal, of course.
Right.
But even if you draw the 3 or the 7, or honestly, even the 2 is a good draw.
Yeah, because you could set the trap early.
Ooh, big draw there across the way. Now an Anko of the Hatsu doesn't sell out for the Honitsu.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit too late in the round to try to pivot that way.
Well, that is Tempai for dealer. Ricci Tanyao
Each.
could Dama, but I don't see any advantage in doing
Nah.
so. And the 4-7 is great in the wall. 5 left.
Yeah, that's great.
For a turn 10 Ricci, a good one tends to be, I don't know, maybe I have 3 in the wall. 2 on the wall is an okay Ricci. But at the same time, Dama across the way on 4-7. Oh, wait, no, not Tempai. My mistake. That's a 5, not a 2.
Yeah, that's Ishan probably going to end up on that 3-5 Kanchan most likely.
Wrong.
Oh no,
Well, there's
never
going to be a
mind.
deal in Ricci Tanyao.
No Uda,
No aura
but
punish, but when you're in fourth, you just have such an incentive to push here. Because you don't want to dig yourself too deep a hole because you still have half a game left.
yeah, this feels like it's somewhere past East 4, but it is not.
Well, we had the start of the game delayed, so everything's feeling a little bit off anyway. But then you see all these repeats. We've had what, 6 Homba at one point?
I remember 5, maybe was it 6?
That's right. I think it may have just been 5. But anyway, we have dealer hand here. Ricci, maybe a Sunshoku here, maybe any Peiko. Gonna be awkward. You really want that 6-8-7 Sunshoku here for extra value. If you can get the Peiko and the Sunshoku, even better. On the right, we have a few pairs and a completed shape in So. Interesting as to which direction you want to go with that hand. Across the way, looks like a pretty standard Pinfu shape. You may go for the Sunshoku here. The question is, how greedy do you want to be? And the answer is very cutting the 6. Definitely wants that Sunshoku. On the left, we have a Chun pair and a floating Dora. Great shapes otherwise, though.
Yeah, I like Zilong's hand here. This seems like it could come together pretty fast. Maybe not as fast as Cass's though. Well, that 7-9 feels like you're gonna end up on that somehow. So
Well, that is an Ishan 10. You would be likely waiting for the Chun, but of course, if you draw something near Dora, you can always cut the 5-7 Mon on the left there from that Ishan 10.
decides to cut the 7-9 for potential Tanyao, I guess here if you get the right draws.
We have so many things here. Yeah, definitely going for an extended shape in
Each.
So instead. But the first player to Tempai is across the way. June is waiting on an 8 for Ricci Sunshoku.
That 8 is look those 8s look pretty settled in Kaz's hand, but not if Christian draws it maybe.
Well, there are 2 left, so it's an okay wait. It's about all you can hope for on an 8.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting draw with the 2. Cuts the Chun pair. This will now potentially be Tanyao Sanshoku Dora 2, and that's going to be a call. Absolutely, you call
Gee.
that. Tanyao Sanshoku Dora 2 waiting on 6, so there are 3 in hands, though, so just 1 left on the wall. And there's one of those 8s. So it's now a 1 versus 1. And I don't think there's anything you're folding on if you're Zilong here. Or if you draw another Dora, you just change your shape.
Right. Now, actually, I think what there's that 1-8 left. Yeah, it has to be a sumo, or actually, I think it has to be drawn by Zilong on the left.
Oh, that 4 looks bad, but you just have to push. Your hand is worth pushing.
Yeah.
Two so also looks bad, but that's just because no one else has been cutting so because there aren't any in this discard pile of the Ricci. Ooh, there is a Tumon that is not Tempai. Uh-oh. But that 8 may come out.
Potentially here, yeah. Well, actually, the 5 so is Nakasuji.
You'd prefer that. It's going to depend on what is drawn. But that isn't going to
Mm.
help you. Yeah,
Oh, or
just throws the
that's
safe
safe,
30.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely what you do there. If you can't get Tempai, do
Right.
not risk anything on that last
Yeah,
discard.
of course.
But 2 players Tempai will move to South Round. Another draw hand. So we're at Homba 3, and we'll see if we keep that going. Drew has a pretty good starting hand here. A little too many floaters, but other than that, the hand's great. Potentially Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao. Maybe not Pinfu now. Lots of options. Maybe in a 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku, depending on what gets drawn. Maybe a Honitsu. Everything is very much up in the air. It's a what do you draw later? Oh, that 6 is so tempting. I think I got the 1 pin there.
Yeah, I was
Or the
going
1 so rather.
the
1
1
so rather.
so, yeah. That's what I would have done as well.
On the right, looks like a Pinfu hand. You do have that 8-mon helps immensely. A Ricci Nomi or Ricci Pinfu, if you can draw that 5-mon. Across the way, that looks like an Itsu. It is Ricci. Oh, no, it's not. I
No, not
misread
an
it.
issue.
Oh, that's depressing. Ricci Dora. Good weight still. You'll take it.
Yeah, I think
Oh, this will be a chase, and this may be an Ipatsu DLN.
Each.
sure is.
Yeah, I don't think you can get away from that one. And the aura for the Mongon. Ouch. Will be enough to push Zilong to first place, moving to South 2.
And unfortunately for our other two players here, it looks like Kaz and Zilong are kind of pulling out ahead here. So
Yeah, you might expect that from the standings going in, but they were doing much better at the beginning. Just can't keep it up as we get towards middle of South round. Dealer here has a Pinfu hand, maybe a Sanchoku in there, 6, 7, 8, or 7, 8, 9, but a little too many floaters. On the right, we have a great shape in Mon. The question is, can you cut that 8, 9 pin and make it maybe Rishi Pinfu Tanyo Peiko? Across the way, we have 3 pairs, a bunch of awkward shapes in Mon. Really need the 4 Mon to pull that together. Then you can look at it. Maybe even Chi Toy. Kind of awkward though. And on the left, looks like a Pinfu hand, especially when you can pull on that 8 Mon. Maybe an Itsu. Now definitely think you had Itsu with that 3 so.
yeah. Zilong had a chance to take an extended shape in So and decided to keep the Penchant instead here. I think I would have I just have a habit of getting rid of penchants as soon as I can, so I don't know.
Well, the big backfire, of course, was on the right. Zilong through Dora turn 2, and of course draws it on turn
Oh,
3. I
yeah, I
believe that
did
is a
actually didn't
rule.
catch that. Decides to not take the Itsu chance here.
Now
リーチ
that is Tempai. We'll take the Ricci Nomi on the 7 pin. There are 2 left, but one of those is very precariously floating in Christian's hand.
Yeah.
ドン
And will
Comes
come
right
out,
out.
Ricci Apatsu. And the aura again. Ouch.
It was trapped, actually, so I do kind of understand that move actually.
Yeah, that's always the problem with trusting Suji on 4s and 6s is you'll occasionally deal into those penchants, especially on an early Ricci. Move to South 3 here, and dealer has a couple penchants and a great hand other than those 2 penchants. On the right, we see a whole bunch of pairs, maybe a Honitsu, also the double south there. We'll keep the 8 Mon as a floater.
I actually do think I would have taken this Honitsu there and dropped something
Yeah,
over
like
that
the 5
Patsu.
I might have kept over
Mm,
the Hatsu, but the 8 I definitely would have just thrown.
right.
Regardless, though, we go across the way. potential Itsu in pin. But other than that, just kind of awkward all over the place. Kanchan, Penchon, Penchon, Kanchan,
Uh,
floating two.
June
And on the
picks up
left, yeah, that looks
Adora.
like an obvious Honitsu. Although if you can keep it closed, you can always Ricci and have a nice little weight on that east.
Home.
Okay, now the game's over. We're gonna see the Honitsu on the right there from Kaz.
Yeah.
Home.
No?
Oh,
No?
oh, just going for the double south,
Just wants to shut Zilong
possibly
down.
Toy Toy.
Home.
June,
And
however.
that, yeah, and Zlong says, I've had enough of this. Dealer Ricci. And even though it is Ricci Nomi, they don't know that.
They don't.
And you
Can't
see
have
the
these
immediate
upstarts.
bail. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Tempai on the left there on the 9 Mon, and there it's drawn, but you know that's not coming out yet.
But I feel like it's right now, maybe?
It's 2 chance at this point. Nothing safer in the hand, I don't
No?
think. You just push the 6. We'll buy 1 turn of safety.
I guess 9 Mon doesn't look great against the Ricci.
No, but the issue is nothing does.
Right.
Especially the 7 so, given the 5s and 8s out already.
Some interesting reads from Kaz here. I think I would have dealt in by this point.
I might have thrown the 3 so, but yeah, I probably would have dealt in. Mainly because I would have kept pushing for my hand. Yeah, would love to have taken that north switch, but it would have been 4e10 as the other 2 immediately come out. You're like, okay, well, whatever. Ooh, big draw. Now a 3-sided weight and a potential to add another Dora. You definitely throw the 9.
Yeah, that's nice. I'd feel bad for June if this didn't work out for her here.
3 safe. We haven't talked about these hands, but 1 4 and 1 6 left. And on the 1 4 7, oh, there's another one. So I believe the ones are 1 left.
One left.
Now, there it is.
No,
The 4s are 1 left, and the 7s are 1 left.
one left. That's rough for San Mentan there. You're hoping for a little bit better than that, but it is late in the round.
Let's see a
Sumo.
call. If it, oh, there's the sumo on Haite.
That is not how I expected
Wow.
this to go down.
No kidding. Ricci sumo Haite. And Christian's now in the negatives, and everyone at the table, I guarantee you, like, oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly. I would be.
But the game is not over,
mean,
so you have to mitigate your damage here.
I guess
Dealer
if
has.
I guess if I'm Kaz, I'm happy about how I play that hand, but still.
Well, especially when you poke in the logs to say that 4-6 you had from the beginning of the hand were both deal in tiles.
Right.
But dealer here has what just looks like a Ricci Nomi, bad shapes all over the place. Maybe even a Junchan shift now. Gonna keep that option open for now. On the right, maybe a hand heavy in pin. So do you go Chinitsu? Do you go Sananko? Do you go Itsu? All sorts of options. Across the way, 4 Mon. And I honestly don't know what the hand is supposed to be other than yuck. On the left, on the other hand, we have a great starting hand. Ricci, Dora 3, maybe a Tanyao. Do need to pull in one of those pairs, either the 7 pin or the 3 so as an instant call. Ooh, do you take the 1 and just sell out for the Chinitsu? Does. Can't really blame him.
Yeah, I can see that move. I mean, The 2-3 is nice, but the rest of the hand. Well, I guess you were getting rid of a 3-4 as well.
리치,
Tempai on the left, Ricci, Dora 3, possible Sananko. And all of a sudden you're much less happy about calling that one because the
Yeah,
one would be in one
exactly.
hand
Yeah,
right now.
the worst way this could go down.
And I think you have to just throw the 2 and the 8 coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But the big question is, will the 3 or 7 be drawn? That would be Ricci, Sumo, Sananko, Dora 3. And of course, anyone that deals in, there's one of them. There's a second one.
Oh,
Now
that.
just drawing to that 3 so.
Yeah.
Oh, the other weight would have finished. But you can't possibly know that. You absolutely play for the value there.
Yeah, that's a totally understandable way to play that, especially when you're in a pretty distant third.
Yeah, I mean, Hanemon Sumo here gets you over 30K going into all last. That'd be a great response.
Yeah. Just have to trust in Sanso.
Well, there is one left. We will
One
see if the
left.
prayers are answered.
홈,
Let's see. I think the 5s are dead, so 3 should be effectively walled off. 1, 2, 3,
One,
4. Yeah,
2.
all 4 of them. How many 4s are out? 1, 2, 3. But the 2s are out. So the 3 is effectively walled off on both sides with the 2 and the
홈,
5 gone.
There
And
it
there it
is.
goes. Again, I think that was the correct defensive play, but punished
Yep.
with the irregular weight there. And that is a Mongon deal in to your direct competition for second. And we're moved to South 4. And all of a sudden, first looks pretty clear, but second and third are within striking range of each other.
Yeah, that's within. Yeah, I mean, what is that? That's within like
Just a
a.
Mongon,
Yeah.
26-9, 7,900 behind. And Deer here has a pretty good starting hand. Looking for that Itsu in pin. Also has a penchant to get rid of, but I like the hand. On the right, oh no! Why was Haku cut? That has to have been a misclick. Either that or a complete
Yeah, there's
sellout.
no way.
Yeah. Oh no, this would be okay. Selling out for Kokushi. I don't like this. I think you're going to do that. You cut the Mon tiles first and then see how the hand progresses.
I
리치,
agree with
Because this
that.
has a very good. Well, oh
Wow.
my God! Look at that hand. Ricci Dora 3. A win off anyone is first place or second place.
That's we didn't even make it over to that side of the table to see the high pie, but it must
No,
have
we were
been.
just befuddled by the Haku cut from the pair, and oh my, beautiful hand there for June. And the 6 so, dealer is now Dama Tempai waiting on 5 so 4 Mon for Tanyao. So 2 players Tempai here, and I see that one Mon kind of floating in Zilong's hand.
Yeah, I'm really wondering there.
I think this is a easy Ricci.
리치,
3-sided weight. Ricci, Pinfu, possible
Mm,
Tanya waiting on the 3-6-9. And there's another 6. So the 6 is now dead. The 3 so has 1 left. The 9 so has 3 left. And the 1 Mon has 1 left.
this is tense.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those, there's nothing you can do. And if you're one of the other players, just trying to avoid the chaos. But that 6 is a push. Christian may be pushing a little hard and may end up dealing in on that double roan with 6 so. if this keeps up.
Hmm. I I wonder if Christian starts bailing with those one peen before that happens.
Goes, yeah. I did not like the 6-pin push. Yes, you see a bunch of sevens, but that's just asking for danger here. If the hand were Kokushi Ishanten, sure. Oh,
Oh,
there's the
there it
9,
is.
Richie Pinfu.
Unfortunate for June, but
Has
we're
that great starting hand
nice
to get
try.
second place and just can't complete it. I mean, you have to play it that way. It's a
Yeah,
bit
right.
unfortunate. And Kazavosin feels a lot better about this situation. Has a Chun pair. Not terrible shapes elsewhere, but looks like just a Chun one on hand. On the right, Hatsu pair. Decent shape in Pen, maybe in a Peiko there. Across the way, looks like an Itsu in So. Also, a floating 3-mon and Chun. And on the left, wow.
Boom.
Riichi,
What
Pinfu,
a hand.
Tanyao, Sanshoku.
That's one of the
You can make a
widest.
monster out of that.
Yeah.
It is now Ishan 10. The question is, what do you do?
You go for the 5 6
Takes
or
the
the
wider Ishan 10.
what is that? 5 6 okay.
It's a
So
3-3-5-5-7. So it would be Tempai on 1-4-7 so, or could even call that for Tempai.
I guess you hope for 7 so and go and go for the
Well,
Sanshoku.
there
But
you
no,
go. Do you take the 6 weight or the Shampoo? Dama's on the 6. Looking for that Sanshoku upgrade,
yeah,
probably.
right. Yep.
Speaking of value upgrades, there's a nice one on the right there for Riichi Pinfui Peiko. Still Ishan 10 and breaks the perfect Ishan, goes to regular Ishan 10. 16, well, I guess 15 outs considering the fives in your hand. Oh no, I guess the five's actually kind of dying at this point. And given that, I definitely would have cut the Shaw, the West floater. I don't really think the safe tile makes sense when you have
May
an
just be
Ishan
a
10
little
like that.
skittish
Yeah.
after
Ooh, could
taking
throw
so
the
many hits.
5 here, and this would be Pinfu now. Sanjuku
Mm,
Dreams are over, but that's a
just
much
take it.
better weight.
Just take it
Yeah,
in
goes
any
ahead and even
game.
smashes the button on it. Ricci, Pinfu, maybe Tanyao. There are 2 6s and 3 9-pins visible,
I,
so 3 left in the wall.
I'm a little confused about the decision. Like, I guess I would have just stayed Dama in this case because it ends the game either way. But
Playing for a little bit of points.
yeah, I
I
guess
don't
so.
think it matters as much just because these two are so far ahead of the cut line right now.
Yeah.
Could cut 1-mon, or could just push it here and
Boom.
deal in, and does. That's the expensive end. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao. No Oradora, but that's why the Ricci came out. That will be Zelong with a big win of plus 47.9. Cause staying over 30K with that intense Ricci battle in South 3. And June taking a bit of a hit with minus 12. And unfortunate there for Christian. Ends up negative on the final score line and overall a minus 45.4, pushing both Christian and June into the demotion zone. June was on the cut line before,
Yeah,
but
that's a rough game
now
for
not
those
looking very
two.
good.
Right.
Still, you have a long way to go. There are 13 games left, and we're going to see another one pretty soon. But you look at that cut, and everyone within, honestly, to Tristan is reachable in one game, and Dustin easily reachable with the first,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
lots of games to go.
All right. So the second game has not started yet, so we will have at least a few minutes.
First let's make sure the tool we usually use to determine whether a game started is down because of the lobby switch. So let's make sure ourselves.
Oh, just started.
Yep, now it did just start. So that will be going live in 4 minutes. We're going to take a 2.5 minute break and see you in a few. All right, and you can see it'll be a little bit before the game starts, but kind of want to look at some of the overall stats for this league because we still have a couple minutes left. And if Scott, you can pull up the A2 stats that help. All right, you see here, of course, Christian and June need a little bit of work to do, but you see, especially Christian with a 430 EV, that should be enough as long as you can keep it up, get a little bit better, and you should feel pretty good. June, on the other hand, of course, was in A1 last season and just got absolutely demolished, looking to turn it around, but still has plenty of time here in A2. And on the other end, of course, Zlong and Kaz dominating the field. There are seven A2 promotions to A1 at the end of the season because we are expanding, I believe, all the divisions to at least 20 players so that we can
Hmm.
more easily handle a hiatus should it occur. Because in ARML, you are not required to play every season because we know real life occasionally will happen. And you can look at these stats, and of course, the lower deal ends kind of correlate to higher up in the statistics. You have a couple outliers, but three of the lowest ones, the top three, is very much what you'd expect. But I think the one thing that jumps out at me is that average win value of 65.11 for Zlong, along with a pretty good winning percentage and that combined low deal in percentage. Of course, the other player with a high win average is Dustin, who was also in A1 last season and got demoted because of a really unfortunate break in the brackets where you had to end up plus minus zero in A1 to survive. He
Right.
was the on the wrong end of the bubble, but you can look at those statistics and say he can definitely build hands. That is definitely someone to watch out for. A bit unfortunate, minus 81.2. Certainly, though, has the ability to make it all the way back
Yeah.
to promotion.
I've seen a couple of Dustin's games. He's had a rough streak this season so far.
All right, well, the game should be starting any second now. Yes, it is 10:34 JST or 9:34 Eastern here. So it's a matter of when Tenho feels like it. Because the 5 minute delay doesn't tell us whether it started at second one or second 60.
Right.
But for all these players, you're just looking for a positive spin to go into the midseason, review your situation, feel really confident. And again, with seven promotion spots, Zlong and Kaz, well, they haven't punched their tickets, are in very good position.
Yeah, it's just about if they stay up there in a couple more games, I think something disastrous would have to happen.
Well, we have a game starting here, and although I'd normally go around the table, that hand across the way immediately draws my attention with a Chun pair and a Hatsu pair, where Hatsu is Dora. Great shapes elsewhere, maybe in Honitsu on top of everything. That is a gigantic. Ooh, and now you're even. Well, you can't get the
Oh,
Daisangen, unfortunately, because the other Haku came
no.
out and one is Dora
Home.
indicator. But there's the Dora call, and I believe this hand is off to
Home.
anything you can get is good enough. And they're still like, uh-oh. The deal like looks at that starting hand and goes, "Wait, we have a chance for Suanko," and then Dorapone, and you go, "Uh oh."
Yeah.
On the right, we see the tone call looking for just anything to get rid of this scary hand across the way, and it's even scarier than you may suspect at this point. On the left, I believe that is an Ishan 10, but kind of an ugly shape. We need a 3 so and 8 pin, and that eight's dying off.
Oh, yeah, real quick.
But you do see
Yeah.
Kaj here, at least floating the Haku for now, potentially for the Shosangen on top of everything else.
Well, let's see. Well, that would be Shosangen, Honitsu, Door 3.
Yeah, it's going to be Baimon. I don't
Yeah.
exactly know how it's going to work, but I know it's going to end up being somewhere in the 8 to 10 range.
Yeah, I think that would be 9 as currently configured.
And on the right, upgrades to Ishan 10. Not quite sure what the head's going to be here, but that's the advantage of being headless is any tile can be your head. Meanwhile, dealer is now Ishan 10. Interesting cutting the Formon. Just going for the quicker route. You can't go Tanya here though. And across the way, that hand is looking scarier and scarier every time I turn around.
Chi.
Decides to not grade for Shosangen across the way.
Ooh, six is called. I don't think that necessarily helps the hand though. You have obviously four pair candidates here, but you haven't really improved your shape at all. And honestly, the rest of the hand's kind of ugly. Could see a chi here
Chi.
and cut 7 mon. That's what I'd do.
That's probably what we're gonna see. Yep.
Yeah, waiting on the 9 and the tune. There is 1 9, but is very conspicuously floating in Christian's
Home.
hand, and there it goes.
Wow.
That is a Hane Mondialin, and unfortunately picks up just where I left off in the previous game, but there's a lot to play, and that just hurts. I
It
think
really
that was
does.
unfortunately set up though by the call previously, where the shapes got particularly ugly, and that 9 just had to come out. There was no way around it. When we move to East 2, dealer has.
That
Oh,
is
we're not looking at dealer. Dealer has a bunch of pairs.
that's an ugly hand to get as dealer when you're behind.
Oh, yeah, that's worse than I thought it was. That yuck. There you get the Korak yuck. I want to say something good about this hand, and I'm just not coming up to it.
There really isn't.
On the right, though, that is a great starting hand. Ricci, Tanya, maybe even a distant Sananko. Across the way, two Dora, a whole bunch of pairs, maybe even Chitoi. On the left, Hatsu pair. Ishanten already. I think you just call and go
Yeah,
if it
just call.
comes.
I don't think there's a good way to make value out of that.
Ooh, that is that. It's an interesting draw. Do you cut the 8 so or the 6 pin? I feel you have to do one of those. Yes.
Yeah.
Potential Ricci, Tanyao, Ipeko, or even haven't given up on Chitoi or even the Suanko. Well, there's a third Dora across the way, so that is absolutely a call and go hand now.
Yeah, you just have to
Oh,
hope your
there's a bit of a
Kami-cha is nice to
backfire.
you.
Unfortunate with that 7 pin.
Yeah. I mean, you make your decision and you live by it.
Oh,
Rubbing it in.
oh, the salt, it burns. Well, that should
Chi.
be an instant chi. It is. And Zilong's stuck in Ishan 10. Wondering where those Hatsu have gone. Actually, didn't call the one earlier from the dealer. I definitely would have taken Tempai. I missed that.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that.
The expensive hand is June's across the way with that 3 Dora, and that is Tempai waiting on 3 Mon. They are all in hands, but that one on the left looks like it's going to come out. The question is, when will you get to Tempai? And this is one of those situations where, like, I pray you do not get to Tempai. We've been in those, like, I
Chi.
really want Tempai, and then you go back in the log and go, oh wait, no, I did not want
Oh,
Tempai at
yeah.
all. Oh, there it is. I
And
think
it's
it
gonna
just
come
comes
out.
out. Yeah, I don't see a way around it, whether
Ichi.
you Dama or Ricci.
Yeah.
Gon.
Unavoidable, unfortunately.
Deals into the Tanya Dora 3, and June takes a big lead on the second hand. But that's not enough for the overall lead because, of course, that Hanuman on the first hand is still the top score with Kaz at 42,000. Has pretty good starting hand here. Not too much value unless you can keep it closed, but I don't really see a reason to keep it
I
closed.
I just played this Hakudora one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you draw the 5 pin, maybe you change your mind. But other than that,
That's about it. Yeah, that's the only thing that would make me keep this closed.
on the right, also a great starting hand. Ricci Pinfu, maybe Tanya Sanshoku. Across the way,
Oh.
looks like a Ricci Pinfu type hand.
Home.
Well, there's the Haku. Just go ahead and call it. There's no Yishuntin for dealer. And on the left, that looks like a potential Ricci Ipeco.
Oh
You
yeah, on the
might get
7 mon.
Pinfu, you might,
Chi.
but that Nobei Ton's going to be awkward. And there's Tempai for dealer waiting on 5 pin. And you see 2 of those 5s are kind of floating out there. But I think the one in Christian's hand is basically stuck there. As the 2's
Decides
always going to come out.
decides to throw back the one pin there. I guess. Oh,
Well,
because
now
you don't have your
Tempai,
headless.
Ich.
but it would be the Shampon 9-8, and there's the 8. I
Oh,
think this just gets
it's
thrown.
gonna come out. Yeah.
Like I don't.
No,
Wow, nice dodge.
I really thought that Kaz would fight for this, but is finding a way around it.
Well, I think the other problem is, are you going to get safer tiles later? Like, is that 5 safe? Are you thinking the 4 or 6 is particularly safe? I'm sure there was a Sumagiri 1 and then a 2, but if anything, that makes the 4, 7, and 3, 6 look worse.
This must just be a hunch that Pinzu are safer.
Well, it's the right hunch. And there's the 3-6. And yeah, it just pushes it. Of course, we'll not be able to get Honitsu from this, having called the so earlier.
Right.
Could cut the 3 so here. Oh, just folding though across the way. There's a 9. But I think that's Tempai. It is. You absolutely Ricci on the 6. Or you could even Dama, since you have the Sanshoku Dora 2.
Gon.
Oh, wait, what?
That
No, that's a mistake.
yeah,
That is
not
just a mistake.
not
Oh, that's gonna look at the log and go, wait, why did I do that? Thought being a little sneaky with that push, but no, that is a Sanshku Dora 2. I could see an argument for Damo. You absolutely take Tempai there.
yes, I agree with that. Maybe just nerves or something. I'm not sure.
Could be, but
Home.
we see a pretty nice starting end here for dealer. Chun Call, presumably, if the last Haku comes out, you already have Mongon here, so It's a great starting hand with the. Ooh, well, two of those are out. I think you just throw it. It's funny
No,
you
yeah.
draw it and go, ooh, oh wait, never mind.
Right, yeah.
On the right, Ricci, Pinfu, maybe just Tanya. I'll call for the Dora 2 here. And that 6 does connect to the 8. I think Tuso is the correct cut there. And so it cuts the 5. You can definitely
Come.
float the 2 later, connect to other stuff. Now, the question is, will dealer take Tempai? And does, waiting on that 8 mod, will just be the 2 Han from the 2 Dragon calls. But the question is, could you have gotten Honitsu? And the answer is, I don't know. We're going to see. Across the way, looks like 1, 2, 3 Sonshuku hand. On the left, a few pairs. Seems like a distant Chitoi.
Yeah, I guess it still has regular hand potential, but mm,
Well, I
it
think if
would
you're
be
going to do
very
it, you'd call that for the 3, 4, 5 Sonshuku, and
yeah,
there's
there's
just no reason.
right. It not really valuable enough to fight for if you're in Kasa's position.
Yeah, your most possible value with this hand to me is Sonshuku Pay, and that's so far away at this point. And
Right.
there's the 8. Doesn't throw it yet.
Not willing to fight.
Oh, and if you kept the 1, this would be Tempai for the Honitsu. Oh, that's a bit of a. That's frustrating.
1、
Believe me, I had that happen in one of my games a couple days ago. It doesn't feel good. Like, can I dare float this for the Honitsu? Nah, let's just take Tempai. Oh no! Oh, and there goes the
Oh,
Shosangan. Oh, this is
so Joe
painful to
commented in the
watch.
chat about the wall being rude. I think the wall is being pretty rude right now.
When I have a Dora, I think it just pushes, especially with the 4 having
Come.
come. Yeah, and you instant call. Absolutely. Tempai on the right for Tanya Dora 3 with the 7 Mon 8 so weight.
And
And all 3 of 4 of those are left in the wall. You do have the 7 Mon
surprising
in Jun's
given
hand.
that it's the end of row 2 that weight is as live as it is.
You see the Sanshoku across the way. Not Tempai yet, though. Could call, but if you do, that'd be a 4-10. And uh-oh.
Ah,
Dream is
pushes
dead,
into dealer
deals into
hand.
the 2,900. So we will have another East 4 as June pulls in another sec. Ooh, that's a great starting hand. The Hatsu Anko, you have a floating Dora, a completed shape, maybe even a 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku. You can't ask for too much more. Oh, and now you've connected to the Dora, even better. On the right, yuck. I see nothing and I see lots of it.
Yeah,
Across
that's ugly.
Across the way, looks like a Ricci Pinfu, maybe a Tanyao, but probably Ricci Pinfu. Also a floating 3, maybe he'll pull in a Dora later. And on the left, it also feels like a Ricci Pinfu type hand, maybe a 3, 4, 5 or 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku. And when you have a hand that bad, what do? Well, you sell it for Chitoi. I do not blame the decision.
Now
Dealer
you
now
have
pulls in a second
a
Dora, so
potential, yeah, like Dora pair is your head here. That's even nicer.
yeah, I think you just call basically anything here and take your Tempai with 2 Dora. And there goes the 1, 2, 3 Sonshuku Dream, having thrown the 1, the 2, and the 3. We've all
Yeah,
been there.
I don't think that was on her
That
mind
was
here.
not a consideration, especially once you draw the second door. It's never coming out. And that does not improve the hand shape at all. I would definitely pass that and does. The hand on the right is now Ishan 10, improves the Ishan 10. It was Ishan 10 before, but guaranteed bad weight. Now there's actually some potential. Ooh, that 2-pin Dora cannot come out of Kaz's hand now. That may just shut it down completely.
Yeah.
Or you could just go Chitoy even now. You're starting to pair a lot more up than you thought you had.
Cartoon? Yeah. Okay. What do you do with this 5? Just
You either do that or you cut the 3. But I don't know if that 3 pin really does anything. If you're never ever cutting the
リーチ
2 pin, the only thing it really does let you accept a third 2 pin and
right.
keep the 2-2-2-3 shape.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the first tempai is on the right, Richi Nomi waiting on 3 so. That is a very in demand tile right now. And I mean, June looked at this hand and thought it was a great. Hard to believe this hand wouldn't win, but yeah, I'm not seeing it now. I think you cut the 1-2 for sure here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and perfect. There's your Dora. This should not even take a
Wow.
second
ポン
to call.
Yeah.
Waiting on the 4-7 pin now.
Wait, what was that?
Wait, what?
That
That has to have been a
has to
misclick.
have been a misclick.
That is not the first one of this match, and that's really
チ
gee.
No.
You got bailed out. Oh my goodness. The unfortunate thing is last turn that 4 pin would have come right out.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate for June.
Is that Tempai? Hold on.
4
It is. That's going to
Mm,
deal in. And Christian has just not had a good day.
no, not at all.
I absolutely have no problem pushing that for Tempai. The whole hand was weird because of what we presume is a misclick, which is unfortunate, but I guarantee you it wasn't the only person at the table who was confused.
I, honestly, if I'm Christian and I'm going back over the logs, I'm having
Oh
an
yeah, no.
extra
If
bad
that
time.
happens to me and I see that in the logs, I say, even if we were playing more games after this, forget it. I'm done. I
Yeah,
need the
exactly.
details.
I'm like tilting right out of my apartment at that point.
Dealer here has a pretty good starting end here. Tanya Sanshuku Dora looks certainly possible. Ooh, now looking pretty good. You do have that extra floating 8 mon though,
Floating
so we'll
Dora,
have to
yeah.
connect to it. On the right, we have Ricci, Tanya, maybe Peiko. Could also accept a Dora, but then you're gonna have to find a pair elsewhere. Across the way, maybe Peiko and Pin. Decent shapes elsewhere, but I think the big hand is now the big choice there is now the Haku pair. So that may just be a call and go because the rest of the hand looks really slow. On the left, that is, I believe, Ishunt, and yes, it is, but a guaranteed bad weight. With Ricci Dora, you're fine with that.
Yeah, it's fine. If I'm Christian here, it's the dilemma of being thrown a Yakuhai hand when you have 7,000 points.
Yeah. Because there's no value that's coming from this unless you draw the 7 and then maybe a 4 or okay, now you can at least think about it. But even that would be Ricci Ipeco most likely, not really what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Interesting cutting the 3. Could have even cut the 8-9 and just gone for the Tanya there on the left for cause. But that would have been 3 pairs, which is never ideal.
I guess for Christian, the best thing does this get
Boom.
called?
You call this, and the question is, do you go Honitsu? I mean, if the 7 pin comes, I think you have to take it. Now, if it comes and you cheat it, then I might cut the 5 so.
I see, yeah.
Oh, and now we'll see the decision.
No.
Well, you can see the hesitation. Now, if it
Yeah,
does take it,
just
says it's turn 10. I feel sick having to take this, but I will regret it if I don't.
I mean, yeah, you were handed what you were handed, but you also kind of made your bed there, so
I'll move to South round now. Dealer has a decent hand in so. Maybe Honitsu. You have so many floaters, though. It's kind of awkward. Yeah, just going to start getting rid of those. Play normally with the hand. On the right, few pairs. Looks like a Tanyao type hand, maybe Richi Nomi. Across the way, looks like Junshan, especially you can cut that Formon pair. On the left, Pay pair with and a Dora. So the question is, similarly, can you turn this into some sort of Chanta? It'll be much harder with that hand, though.
I I think if I'm in June's position, I just take the cheap pay hand however I can make it.
Yeah, you have the overlap needing the seven, so which is the Dora indicator. So that's always a well, it'd
Mm,
be nice, but I don't expect it to come. And anytime you have an overlap in the Dora indicator, it just feels terrible, especially this situation where you normally cut from the outside, but cutting from the outside is your Dora.
right.
So I actually kind of like cutting the nine so and saying we will keep the eight as a pair candidate because the only way this hand's getting any value is Dora Donkey.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. I do actually think that's how I would play this now that I think about it. And there's another pwnable tile. So
There's there on the left. Question is, oh, cuts the three. I think I'm cutting the seven.
I
I see
cut the
the idea
seven,
for the
yeah.
Sanshoku, but I haven't given up on just Chanta with this hand. But if you cut the three and then draw another two later, you're gonna be really sad.
It just seems like this is the kind of play you do when you're behind, but you're not behind.
No, when you're a 50, well, you are behind in the league,
In
but
the
even
league,
getting a
but
first here, you're probably jumping into 11th place at least.
I can kind of see it. I mean, there's a couple legitimate ways to play this, and
Yeah. Ooh, interesting draw there. The question is, do you take the wider Ishanten or do you lock into the Dorotanki? Okay, takes the wider Ishanten with the safe tile instead. So looking for a Chanta. Now that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Locks in the potential for Chanta. Of course, if you draw the four pin, you're sick to your stomach.
yeah, you take it, but you're not
Well,
happy about
then
it.
you
But
just take the uh, Ryanman weight. You're not particularly happy about it though. There is one Haku left, which would be a very interesting 1-4 weight as well. Is that Tempai? No, that is not Tempai
not
for dealer. It
quite.
is a pretty wide Ishan 10.
Yeah, just could pick up something and drop
ポン
the 9 so for
Tempai
I
on
guess
the right, but
Tanyao.
I don't think it has a
ポン
Yaku. Yeah, there's no Yaku there.
And now a Tenpai for Tanyao.
Waiting on 5-8. And you could ignore all those pin tiles colored orange because there's no Yaku there. You have a 9 in that hand, so it cannot be Tanyao. And even so, still cannot be Tanyao until you have pulled a 6 in. I think
Yeah,
that
that's
4
unlucky.
so was a misread. I looked at the tiles and counted it wrong. Thought that was a 6 and this was Tempai. And then the quote unquote winning tile comes. You go, oops. Now, actually, 4E10 actually has Tempai. But this may be the end of this. I think, well, I'm not throwing the 5 at this point. Yeah. Oh,
No.
there's the 6. It cannot be one on. I mean, you can see the hesitation here. Zlong says this looks terrible and
It does
deals it,
it
but it
looks pretty
will not.
bad.
Yeah, will not deal in because of Furry 10. And there's Tempai across the way. Well, it's been Tempai for a while. Now upgrades the potential Junchan on the 1-4.
ドン
There's the 5. So the Tanya Dora will be enough. And we'll have another South 1 round. Dealer here has a few pairs, decent shapes, not great ones though. Maybe 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku, maybe some sort of shift in pin later. On the right looks like a Pinfu shape, maybe a 4, 5, 6 or 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. Across the way, Hatsu pair. Hatsu is also the door indicator, so if one comes out, you have to call it.
Mhm.
And as a result, I think this is just a call and go hand. You just hope that last one isn't deep in the wall. And on the left, you just go Onitsu. That seems to be the play here,
I
especially with that
think
floating Dora.
I think you have to. I mean, you can't really.
Well, you could have gone Cheetoy because this hand had one, two, three, four, five pairs. Should I think,
Oh,
in my opinion, gone
ポン
Cheetoy.
I guess he's thinks the route to Honeydew might be a little faster.
I am generally an enemy of Cheetoy. I hate going for it, but this seems like it would have been the play. Now, the
Yeah.
advantage of this is you will very likely be on a June donkey wait, and having one already cut would not be surprising to see it pop out. But now that you've called the East with Jalada Yakuhai, everyone has to go, wait a second. And that, I
Yeah, it's
believe, is
already obvious
Senpai.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. The question is, can you upgrade this to a toy toy? And I'm honestly not really seeing it.
Mm, probably not.
It is a Shampoo on the 2-9, and they are all locked in the dealer's hand.
Oh,
Oh,
I didn't even
okay.
catch that because I hadn't looked. Yep, there. Ugh.
Well, now you call the 4 or the 5 or the 6 as well, and now you can convert this to Toy Toy. But first is going to be across the way now Ishan 10 for Tanya, most likely. Did end up cutting from the Hatsu pair. Nice little pull in with the 8 so on the right. Upgrades to a Ryonkon for potentially Richi Pinfu. Although if you draw the 3 or 6 so, it would just be Richi Nomi. Oh, that's an awkward draw.
I guess you can
There's
take it into
Tempai
your hand for
across the way
now.
on the 4-7, Will Ricci. And there's the 4. Uh-oh.
Oh,
It's like, what
uh-oh.
else do you throw? Like, maybe the 9? But is that
Yeah,
any
this
safer? It
is
doesn't look safer to me. Okay,
does
does throw the
does
9.
fold.
Well, fold in very loose air quotes. Plays what is probably a safer tile.
Yeah, it's more like
相撲
the 4 does. Oh,
Well, just sumo.
does
One of
Sumo.
the rules we say all the time here, Ricci, sumo, Tanyao. And that will close the gap a little bit moving into South 2.
Oh, that's really close now.
You're at a whole bunch of pin tiles, and you're wondering whether you
ポン
can turn this into Honitsu or Chinitsu or whether it's going to be normal hand. I think you play normal for now, especially with that
Especially with
5
that draw,
draws.
yeah.
Yeah. You really want a 5 or a 6 Mon as well. Then you go for Sanchoku, Tanyao, and maybe Peiko. Ooh, that's a good draw too. Now you have a lot of options. On the right, the Chun Call, and we'll eventually be needing the door, which is going to be the bottleneck of that hand.
Uh, Probably just giving up on the Sanchoku here for Christian with these great draws.
I'd have cut the 9 first and kind of kept my options open, but I can certainly see the 7. Of course, you will be really disgusted if you draw the 6 or the 5 this turn. Cross the. Oh, I think that's Tempai.
That
That
is,
is
yeah,
Tempai.
1
for 5-8, I think.
I just say, I think it's. Is there a better weight than that? No, that's the right weight.
That's
Okay.
the right weight, yeah.
Yeah. Ricci, Tanya. Is there a Pinfu in there? There should be. Yeah, there is. Possibly
Yeah,
Peiko
that's
on the 8.
yep.
Tempai on the right, waiting on that 7. There are 2 of those. The 5-8s, as we
Sumo.
get around to it. There it is. There were 4 on the wall, but that's one of them. Ricci, Sumo, Pinfu, Tanyao. Or a 2,
That
and
too.
that is what Christian has needed so badly. And is now still under 30,000, but it can at least start to see above water now.
Yeah, you're already feeling a little bit better about this game, even if
Well, speaking of feeling better, look at that hand across the way.
oh my god.
Oh, I actually think the Shaw is, well, even with 2 out, I still would have cut the 6 or the 5.
Yeah,
But
I think I
wow,
just hard commit to the Honeydew right when I see that high
yeah.
play.
Okay, if you draw another one, you're like, well, maybe there's a show sushi out there somewhere. And always a good idea to keep your greed options open. In the meantime, dealer is perfect Ishan 10 for what would be Ricci Dora. On the right, that looks like a Junshan hand, which would normally be looking relatively fast, except what we see across is very
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
And on the left, that looks like a Chitoy or Toy Toy type hand.
Oh yeah, lots of
It
potential
is
calls
Ishan
there.
10 for Chitoy right now, but I think if you get a 7, you absolutely just call it. Ooh, and another Dora for dealer. I think you just cut the Forso. Yeah, it does. You don't want to Ricci on the door, but you will if you have to.
Right.
But if you throw it now and then draw another one,
T.
you would just cry. Or at least I would. Instead calls for the Tanyao, gets rid of the 4. Of course, you can't get rid of the 9. That would be Kuikai. Chitoy, Tempai on the left. Probably looking at going, wait, Tempai? Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. The question is, do you just, I think it's Dama. Oh,
Kan.
keeps the option open. Anything will be Tempai. And there's a con.
Wow. And suddenly, June's hand
Oh my goodness, I didn't even
is an
realize that.
absolute monster.
That's scary.
T.
And that's going to be an easy chi. Dealer Tempai waiting on 8 Mon 5 pin for Tanyadora 2 or 3. On the left, we have Ricci Chitoy waiting on the 2 Mon. There are 2 of those left.
Sumo.
Oh, just
Oh,
Sumo!
good for Christian, sad for June.
And just like that, Christian is tied for first. Amazing what back-to-back dealer wins like that will do for a hand or for a game. But we move to South 2-2. Dealer has a pretty good shape here, especially when pulling that 7-pin Dora. Ricci Pinfu Dora potentially. On the right, looks like a Ricci Pinfu Ipeco Dora 2, if you draw the right stuff. Across the way, Ricci Pinfu Dora. Feels a little slower than the others, though. And on the left, that just looks kind of a Ricci Nomi, maybe an Ipeco in Mon, but certainly feels like the worst hand here, even though the dealer
Yeah.
shapes are pretty awkward. Oh, gets rid of the 8-9. Probably going for the Tanya shift later. But
I
this
think
will
that's
make it so you can't use the Dora
I
unless you
think
connect it
that
to the
I would
5.
probably make the same play. I don't have a lot of faith in sometimes I just don't feel like the penchant is gonna work out for me, even if it's door acceptance.
I'd have cut the 1 Mon and basically kept my options open. If I draw something connect to
Yeah.
So, then sure. But then again, that'll happen. So don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I
Now, you
mean
have a
it
problem with the 3-5 because 2 of those 4s are out already.
yeah, that's starting to look pretty bad. I'm hoping to draw the 2 or the 6, if not the 4.
Well, ask and ye shall receive.
That's not the one I wanted because that definitely kills my door acceptance, but
Acceptance, Sanshku. There's
Each.
no value here, but it doesn't matter when you have Ricci Pinfu as dealer waiting on 4-7. There are 4 left. Yeah, you definitely cut the 8 pin on the right there for cause. That is a pretty good Ishan 10. The problem is you'd be facing Furi 10. So now I look at it, I'm wondering if that was the right play. It's certainly the safe play.
yeah.
It's very much a question of how greedy do you want to be.
In Kaza's position, I don't feel very greedy. I don't think.
Well, the 5 is also safe in this hand. You know the 1 is safe, and the 7 is safe. Oh, and there's your 7. Do you chi this even? The problem is that 1 so is going to be awkward to use.
Right.
2 Suji, I wouldn't have a problem pushing it. Although you can just throw the 7 pin or 7 so. Plenty of options for safety at this point. And that is Chitoi Tempai on the left, waiting on the 4 mon. No value here, but just wants to be able to fold on something dangerous. Although when Dora and everything near Dora has passed, it's a little more debatable as to what does safe mean here. And that
Pause
4
is on
has
that.
1 left.
Yeah, there was a pause on that 3 pane. I guess June deciding whether to try to call into K10 this early or not, or I guess could potentially make Tanyao still, but
Now, remember, the Dora did come out, so that can be pushed at any time if you want. The question
1.
is anyone else into Tempai? And the answer is yes, actually. Ricci Dora
1.
waiting on 3 pin 9 so and a
and a
Shimagiri
chase.
Ricci. That 4 mon will be very expensive. It is drawn by anyone other than the 2 Riccis. Ooh, well, you can't use the 4 there, and it does make the 1 very safe. There's the 7, draws the wrong end, and deals in. Ricci Pinfu gets all the resix and the Aura punish, and now it's
Oh,
Zilong who is in the negatives. And we move to South 2-3. Dealer has a great starting end here with the South pair. How many pairs is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably not a toy hand, maybe a Chi-Toy, but you generally don't go toy from this because calling the 4
the
and the
4
6
and
is
the 6
very
is, yeah,
difficult.
it's gonna be really slow.
On the right, looks like a Pinfu hand, but kind of slow. You also have a few extra pairs. Across the way, that looks like a Pinfu hand, but you have a couple extra floaters, and you have a potential Chanta shift later, but I don't think that's going to happen. On the left, you have the North pair, which is Yakuhai, a Dora, and decent shape. So probably the best hand if that South is not called. If the South gets called, then obviously the dealer's hand looks a lot better. But it's actually Chitoi Ishanten already. Oh, oh, the 1. I think I'd have cut 2 so there. But this does give you a Tanyao option. Yeah, dealer's definitely locked into Chitoi. Even the South comes out. Well, okay, actually that's a question. If the South comes out, do you call it and go Honitsu?
It's tempting, but I feel like I'm like committed to the Chi-Toy of my hand if this is my
It
hand,
seems
but
like the most likely situation. Well, that's
well,
actually a terrible tile if you're going Chitoi because the 1 is
4.
completely dead.
it's dead, yeah.
And realize it goes, oops. I guarantee you that was an oops.
That was, yeah, just like, instinctually it's like, "Oh, well, that, that helps, that, like,
That might
hedges
be my
Honitsu,"
yeah, and I have all
but,
these blockers. The 1's probably really good, except for the O.
yeah, I've done it for sure.
We have all done it. Ooh, and another Dora. And you can tell does not want to throw that. Kind of regretting the 5 mon discard last turn.
Yeah.
And the problem is the 8 mon is completely dead here. I think the correct play would have been to cut the 9 mon. You're still going to
Mm,
have to call the North, and you can chi the 7. Could have chied the 7 there a couple turns ago, but well, now we're going to see a call from dealer. Wait,
no?
what? No, I
I
think that absolutely should have been called. You call, cut the
hmm.
7, and then you can call later for Toy, or just win on the 3-6. I think that is a mistake.
Still does not wanna just commit to this, like, n you know,
Well, you're not getting Tempai
non-hand.
without it. In the meantime, we have a Tempai across the way for Pinfu Nomi waiting on 1-4, and that's going to come right out.
ロン
And 1900, but at least is a direct hit, so close the gap a little bit. And move to South 3. Here has a nice little Anko of the 8-pin, a Dora, but a little too many floaters to make anything from it. You love the 234 Sanjuku, but it seems so far away. On the right, similarly, a whole bunch of
Boom.
mid tiles, but they're even numbered. A whole bunch of 2s, 4s, 6s, and 8s.
Right.
Maybe something in pin, but now option for the dealer, just call for the tune. That's a much better option.
ポン
And
And
there it
there
is. Across the way, looks like a potential 1-2-3 Sanchuku building, but maybe a little slow. Actually, no, that's Ishan 10, so not that bad. On the left, we see the Hatsu call, planning to call the Haku when it comes out.
This looks like a Honey-2 commit already for sure. So
Ooh, 6-pin. What do you cut? Yeah, just throws it right back. Given that one of the there is Tempai across the way, you could take the Pinfu, but I'm definitely taking the Sanshoku. You might even see the 4 called and the 2 deal in here.
リーチ
ポン
and
Yum.
there it is. That was an astute call.
And that at least gets Zilong back above 0 and closes the gap. And we have 3 players very close now.
Really is, well, not anybody's game, but anybody. Three
Everybody
people's
but
game.
Zilong's game, yes. And dealer here has a pretty good starting end here. A floating Dora Haku. And other than that, just like a Pinfu hand. So I think you're going to float the Dora as long as you can. Hopefully use it as your pair and convert to something else. But the rest of the hand, maybe a little work. If you pull a 3 so in, all of a sudden that has look really good. Maybe an Itsu potentially. Now on the right, maybe an Itsu in pin, but the shapes aren't great. Across the way, looks like a Ricci Pinfui Peiko. And on the left, maybe a 2-3-4 or 4-5-6 Sanshoku, but you also have that 7-9 mon to take care of at a floating Haku Dora there as well. Now that 7-pin on the right will massively help that hand out.
Oh yes, for sure. What do you?
So I think the 6 mon is the normal cut there. You could
Hmm.
also cut the 1 pin or the 1-3 mon.
Yeah, I'm thinking about cutting the 1-2.
Not upgrades to Ishan 10, but would just be Richinomi.
Yeah. I
And
think
guaranteed bad weight for now. And dealer says, "Oh, thank you for passing that Haku. I can get rid of mine in an instant."
if I'm Zilong here, I'm almost hoping
Ooh,
that Shun wins against someone else and I can just get another shot at this.
there is Richi Pinfu on the right if it is
Richi.
taken. You're hoping for
Uh,
more value, but I think you just
I,
have to take it now.
yeah.
On the 2-5, there are 4 left in the wall, 2 2s, 2 5s. That 7 so is very awkward for June having cut the 7 earlier. And with that 6 cut, that is the safe tile, but it also makes the 5 very likely to come out. May just be trying to turn this into a Tanyao, in which case a 5 mon pair up or a 2 mon pair up would be really nice. That is not the tile you want, though. Okay, may just be folding here.
That's what I'm. That's yeah.
Well,
That's
the
my read on
interesting.
the situation, at least.
Okay, as long as you don't have 3 players Tempai, you will not do worse than second. Because even with the 3,000 point swing, that's not enough. Oh, there's the 3, so that's a little rough.
Yeah.
Tempai across the way with the Peiko waiting on 4 pin now. That would be first place, but they're all locked up in hands right now.
Yeah. Just unfortunate for June here. I think senses that 2-5 is too dangerous and you can't really advance the hand without a really great draw
Well,
here.
there's the 2-5 are being well used on the left. This is the absolute worst case scenario is if there's a call here into Tempai, but you have to have cause hit Tempai in order for it to matter. Because I don't think Christian's ever folding.
Dong.
Oh, there's the
Oh,
4
wow.
deals in to the Peiko, and that'll be 2,300. And Christian will get first place there with 24.7. Not nearly enough to offset the first game, but especially considering how that was looking coming into South round, you are absolutely thrilled with that result.
Yeah, it gets you out of the demotion zone.
Yeah,
Still you're
you were
11th, but
looking at around minus 150, minus 160. Otherwise, now you're at minus 70 out of the motion zone. That is such a huge swing.
yeah.
And second, we have June with 14.7. Not quite getting out of the motion zone, but in a much better position now, only 5 points back. And then we have Kaz in third with the plus 4.9. So extends the lead. But the big story is uh, Zlong there with the minus 47, coming a lot closer back to everyone else. And the pack closes a bit again. You still have Kaz and Zlong way ahead of everyone else, but they're still within reach.
Yeah, we will have to see how this progresses after the midpoint of the season. But
Okay, I think we are going to pull up another game now.
yeah,
Looks of it,
so
there's a B1 game and a B3 game.
the B1 game should only be part way into East. Um, this will be game 4 of their session. So
Yeah. So the delay we had setting up the lobby and the delay on the stream start caused that game to run over. But then again, it's not like they had a 53-minute game. Oh wait, how long was that first one?
let me check. 57 minutes,
Yeah, that might have had something to do with it too.
followed by a 46-minute. Yeah.
And we can see on the right, this will be Tucker, Matthew, Rachel, and Sarah. Everyone currently is in the positives. This is, I believe, a B1 game that hasn't been updated on the sheet yet. But you see these players were in East 3. Dealer is Sarah. Has a Ricci Dora hand. You have Conchons all over the place, but if you can fill them, you can go for that Ricci Dora on the right. Looks like possibly Peiko in pin. Decent shapes everywhere. You also have a potential to accept the Dora, but then you have some overlap needing the 6 pin. Across the way, Chun pair, but I think you just go Honitsu with it. You do have that extra Dora, so if that pairs up, maybe you just go Toy Toy or Chi Toy. And on the left, decent shapes, but no value. Maybe Ricci Dora, but feels a little slow.
If I draw the 9 mon, I the temptation of Doko
Uh,
is
I
ever
mean,
present.
It is. On the right, we have a Dama on 4-pin for Ipeco. And Ennui is known for liking these Damas, especially on bad weights. On the 4-pin's a really bad weight. We know there's 2 left in the wall, but that's the absolute maximum it can be at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think I would take the same tack
We have
in that
Tempai across
position.
the way for Honitsu only, or Bakon.
That is
You have all those. Oh, that's such a frustrating draw because you'd be 4-10. And that 4-7 doesn't look particularly great here. There's no value in this hand yet.
that's just like a really funny extended Nobetan weight. I don't know if I've
May
seen
come
that
out
one
right
before.
here. Oh, 7 comes out. That looks like a defensive play. Maybe folding already. Maybe going cheat toy also. Oh, that's a. I absolutely
Home.
call that. Yeah, that's a great weight now. 5, 6, 7, and I believe 8. Yes, 5, 6, 7, 8. So
Oh, you don't see that weight every day.
and now Chitoy Ishan 10 on the left for Rachel.
Sumo.
And oh, there's the sumo.
Crafty
4,000, you
hand.
absolutely take it.
Yeah.
And Matthew extends the lead, moving it east 4. Dealer has a Haku pair, a whole bunch of pin tiles, a floating Dora. So the question is, you go Honitsu to use the Dora. Can you open? All sorts of choices here, but a very good starting hand. On the right, that kind of feels like a Junchan hand, although the 9-mon cut suggests that's not the route that's going to be taken. You have a couple pairs, maybe
Looks like
Peiko and lower So. I'm just not seeing much other than Junchan, honestly.
right.
Across the way, we have 2 Dora, so it's anything you can get, you just go with. But the problem is it's very hard to call because the 9-8 and the 1-3 make Tanyo hard to use. And on the
Right.
left, what's probably the best hand is already Ishan 10 for Richi Itsu. Richi Pinfu Itsu.
Home.
There's the Dorapone, and that will at least scare the rest of the table.
Home.
Dealer now Ishan 10 for Haku Honitsu. And you see the 1 pin is capped. Ooh, that's definitely
Yeah.
wait, can you call that? Yeah, you chi that, and
Chi
then you
and
cut
wait on the
the
one.
2. Yeah. It's one of those, wait, I can pawn this, right?
No.
No. Oh, that's a bit rough.
I
Uh,
wonder.
probably just
Hmm.
looked at the pawn and didn't consider the chi here.
Yeah, I guess so.
And of course, there's the 1, and that's gonna feel sad. Oh, there's a 4th Dora.
Come.
We see a con. There's the con. Draws the 6, which isn't particularly useful though. Oh, well, just draw the 3 yourself.
That's still really awkward though. Well, I guess you still goes Shabo.
But there is a potential Itsu upgrade here, like that.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Takes the 7-8 rather than just the 7 or the 8.
I I can see that, you
Well, you
don't have to
figure
be
you're
worried
not the
about.
only one Tempai here,
Right,
and you do see
exactly.
4 Dora on the board, so it's not like you're just playing particularly cowardly here. You are looking at the board and going, "I want out of here." Could
Yeah.
see. I think you call that for the Itsu Tempai with the 1, just because it's getting so late here. Ooh, that 4 should improve the. Nope, doesn't take it. Oh, maybe in 4-10. And there is Tempai on the left. Unfortunately, draws the other end and would have had the Patsumo. But now Tempai waiting on the 9 with no Yaku. That 4 looks very scary. And yeah, Ennui will fold from here, looks like. And that 4 is a 3-sided weight. I would absolutely Ricci this. Oh, and there's the backfire for Ennui.
Ouch.
Now, that did not have a Yaku because you have the 7 Soanko, so it is not Pinfu.
Right. Well,
And the
I
5
don't.
did just come out. That will be called for. Oh, will not. Oh, wait, no. Still has
Oh.
too many pairs. Oh, but you could get
Oh,
the Hote there for
Hote.
1300.
Wow.
That is not how I expected that hand to
No,
end.
well, at first I didn't expect it to go to Ryukyoku, and then it didn't, but not how I expected.
Well, we move to South 1. He has a pretty good starting hand here. Ricci, Dora 2, maybe a Tanya shift, maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanjuku shift, but given the door is 2-pin, unlikely. Oh my goodness. Hand getting better and better, but you have the problem you have too many pairs in this hand.
Yeah, I think. What do you drop?
I mean, normally you would cut the 6 so just in
6
case you
so.
draw the 3, but well, now I'm cutting the 4. Like if I
Yeah,
draw the 3, I'll just throw the door in there. Be a little sad, but that's okay.
yeah, that makes sense.
On the right, looks like a Tanya type hand, maybe a 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku. Across the way, we have 2 Dora, the other 2 Dora, and a Haku pair. And wow, that hand's starting to look scary as well. And on the left, a Pei pair, which is Yakuhai and perfect Ishunten. So a lot of fast hands this time, but the first one to Tempai is across the way, would be waiting on the 7th, so if this Ricci is taken.
Decides to hold out.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. That's a
Boom.
Shampone. Still needs one of those pairs to complete.
Yeah,
Oh, I think this is going to deal in because I don't see how you get around this one. Oh, wait, yeah, you could. You could cut the 6. Yeah, I like that. I thought the 4 is 4E10, but it does not fit in that hand. We'd be looking for the 3-6, not the 4-7.
right.
6 is the correct cut for sure. And Tempai on the left, waiting on that 2-5. Of course, we can see all the 2s and 2 of the 5s.
Pon.
And there's the call for Tempai. And that's going to deal right in.
Right in.
3,900. I don't think you could ever avoid that one, but if you're sure, you'll absolutely take that one. We move to South 2. Rachel starts off with a Dora. Decent shape in Pin, but you have that Penchon, Kanchan. Really want to pair up a Yakuhai and Call from here. On the right, you have a great shape in Mon, and then there's that in Pin. Yeah, I like that very much. Across the way, Tanya type shape. Now you have a Dora, so just throws it right back. Has locked in on the Tanya, throws the 1 so
Yeah.
right back. I would have thrown the 9-pin, but we'll see if that ends up playing
Yeah, I think I
correctly.
also would have.
And
It's
on
yeah.
Yeah, and on the left, pin fu hand, but the shapes aren't particularly good. If you pull on the 7 mon or the 7 pin, all of a sudden the hand looks a lot better. Yeah, okay, so this is when the 1 so probably would have come out for me. So we end up in the same place. And Rachel's hand significantly improving, already potentially reaching Pinfu Tanyao with either 3 or the 5 so, or even reaching Tanya if you draw the 4 or 7 mon. That's not what you want, though.
No.
Oh, there's the 3 so across the way, and Ennui is now in a much better shape, but still Rian
Still
Shunten.
Tushan, yeah. Oh,
Now
now,
Ishan
now
10.
Ishan.
And on the left, we have Matthew desperately needs that 7 mon.
Hmm. Does he
That does
just
not
take
fit
it?
the hand. Could
Oh,
go headless. Yeah, we'll go headless across the way.
oh, right. That's right.
Well, oh, what? Could have taken the Ricci there on the
Ricci.
Tuso with the 4-7 weight, but Rachel says, okay, I'll take my own Ricci. Ricci, Tanyo, Pinfu waiting on 4-7. There are 5 in hand, so 3 left in the wall. Not a bad weight in third row. And Onway wants no part of this.
Yeah, Tucker is not gonna fight this. No way.
Ooh, that is a nice upgrade on the right. Now could consider pushing if you draw something. Could even call that for Tempai. I think I would have just cut the 4-so.
Chi.
I
Speaking of Tempai, we have Tempai across the way on the 4-7 pin, but no Yaku.
That was some good maneuvering, but yeah, it doesn't.
And Rachel will have one more draw. Of course, the 4-7 is dying off. The 4 is dead. The 7 has 1 left. Oh, that 4 looks kind of scary. Well, then there it is!
Oh,
Ricci,
I
Sumo,
say.
Pinfu, Tanyo,
Oh boy.
Haite. No Ura,
No,
but that will
Uda.
take first place in another South 2 here. Rachel gets over 41,000.
What an upset.
Only takes 1 tile left in the wall to draw it. On Hote, that's what you're looking
Pon.
for. Has a pretty good starting end here. Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, maybe Sanshoku. Looking a lot less likely to be Sanshoku now, but still, Ricci Dora is perfectly fine as dealer. On the right, we see the East call, so maybe dreaming of Sosushi?
So sushi, but you keep the wins around until
Well, you're going on Itsu, got the 2-5. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't see a reason not to. Ooh,
Uh,
dealer now, Ishan 10. I ain't going to cut the 4 pin just to accept make sure I use the Dora, but this does allow you some flexibility in that Soche, or you
Ricci.
just draw the 5
now
anyway.
yep. Wow, what a series of draws for Rachel.
Ricci Dora waiting on 7 pin. There are 2 left on the wall. We didn't have time to go around the rest of the table.
We did not.
Ennui has, well, some pairs. That's not going to compete with the Ricci. Oh, that's been unfortunate. Draws the other end, and there's one of those 7 pin drawn into the hand of the right with Sarah. Sarah pretty much has enough to push. One more pair, and I think you just go. May even just go here and hope to call the Honitsu. It's probably
Is
giving up at this
Sarah, I
point.
think, is probably
Yeah, it just
a
feels like a
little
fold at
skittish
this
here, does
point.
not want to get bonked down to fourth.
Right. And on the left, maybe an Itsu in pin. You could see a push. Probably give that extra door in there, which makes it unlikely. Well, now you have to genuinely think about it. You cut the
Sumo.
8. Okay, no, just fold. There's the Sumo. Ricci,
Last
Sumo,
one.
Dora.
Can she keep getting
And the
away with it?
Aura, another dealer Mongon. Rachel over 53,000.
Wow.
Just Sumo.
Indeed.
We say it every time because the game is very nice when it does that for you. And Rachel now has a big lead in South 2-2 and a
Oh,
decent starting end. Not a good one,
yeah, I
though.
think Matt's about to shut this down and keep his second.
Yeah, it looks much better. On the right, not a bad hand there either. A few pairs, we call for Tanya. You do have 2 Dora, so
Pon.
anything you take is good enough to call. Across the way, maybe a distant 7, 8, 9 Sanshoku, but of course the door is going to be very hoarded. maybe just a regular hand now. And yeah, you see the
That's
9
another
come out.
pawn. It
I
has
think
to
you
be.
absolutely pawn that. The question is, how greedy do you want to be? And the answer is not greedy yet. Pair up the South, then I think you greed. Oh,
Mm,
well.
no, just no,
Oh,
no.
okay. You're going to cut the 5-6? Yes, going for the full greed here. Figuring that's where the value is. It is much harder to complete the hand at this point, of course. Particularly even finding a pair is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I think the non-greedy option would still have gotten you over 30K, right? So,
Well, it's South 2. If it were South 4, I absolutely take. Well,
wow.
see, that would be the correct play, I would say. Anything how those draws will change your mind when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waiting on the 6, I think the Shaw comes up first. Yes, and it does. Waiting on the 6 Mon, there are 2 left. 1 left. 3 in hands.
ポン
Sarah takes the Dora pawn. Decides that makes it
Absolutely.
worth fighting for.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's Ishan, pretty good one. At
And
least not
Anwei
bad.
says, I'm out of here. Have fun. Interesting choice by Rachel. You could cut the 1, the 5, or the 2 or the 6. Cuts the 5, so figuring Mon looked terrifying against the rest of this table. That is correct. Now, we do see a switch. Okay, we do see the switch to the 4.
Mm,
Could come out on the right, especially if that 3 Mon is drawn.
right.
Yeah, 7 doesn't
ポン
really help here. Oh, there's the pawn. 2 will come out. Tempai on the right for Tanya Dora 3. Waiting on 4, 7, so it's actually a pretty bad wait. Only 2 left.
Two left.
1,
Right.
4, and 1, 7.
ツモ
But
Just
just
sumo.
sumo.
Just sumo. And that
And
will.
Sarah is now over 30,000 in South 3 as dealer. Has not a great starting hand, though. You do have a Dora, maybe a distant Itsu in pin, but you're just looking for any type of hand here.
You really, yeah. If you draw like
ポン
seven mon or something, this
Yeah,
hand
and
looks
that's not what you want to
better.
see. You don't want to see an instant call by first place on your dealer turn with this hand. On the right, few pairs. You're thinking potentially Peiko in So, maybe floating Cheat Toy later, but feels slow. Across the way, looks like a Ricci Dora type hand, already rounded around in Ishunten. On the left, of course, the aforementioned South Call. The rest of the shapes aren't particularly good. You will be able to shift to Dora, though.
Sarah picks up some more tiles in ping and decides to cut the 8-9. Hmm.
Well, that's a very awkward tile for Matthew. I think you just throw it back, though, or the 4. Yeah, I don't mind that either. Speaking of awkward shapes, that is Ishan 10 for Sarah here. Oh, bit of a backfire on that 8-pin draw from Matthew, having cut the 9 earlier. Oh, there's Tempai. I mean, you just hit the button
リー
here.
チ
Yeah, you have to.
Ricci Dora waiting on 8-pin. There are 2 on the wall, although the 1 in Rachel. Oh, there's 1. Yeah, you're not expecting that to come out, and that's probably just fold as well. Maybe a late switch to a Tanyao, but a lot of safety here, so no reason to necessarily to push it here.
Well, will we see another just sumo with the last one in the wall? Pretty nothing too surprising happening here. Some careful play and
Well, Rachel is now Ishan 10. We need the 4 and the 7. And the 4 is Genbutsu, so that would not be surprising to see come out. But you have to have one first, and there's only one of those left in the
Sumo.
wall. But there it is,
There it
just
is.
Sumo.
Just sumo.
Riichi, Sumo, Dora, no Ura, but Sarah will jump to 36,000 and now competing for first and has a few pairs here, decent shapes, meaning Peiko and Mon, but really want that Tuso. On the right, well, there are your Tuso, and wow, that is a hand.
Wow,
The
it
problem
sure
is
is.
there's not much value. Do you just go Chitoi? Oh. I'm not even sure I like that hand. I'm not calling anything,
No,
especially
I mean,
deeply in fourth.
I would be very tempted
Okay,
to try to
selling out
keep
for
it.
Toy Toy. I don't have a problem with
Oh,
that play.
yeah, that's fair. That at least gets you Mangan. So
Across the way, a Ricci Pinfu hand. Not much else to say. On the left, maybe distant Ricci Pinfu hand, but you have the overlap on the 6 so, the overlap on the
Boom.
3 mon. Kind of a long way away. On the right, we have Tempai on 3 so, 6 so Shampon for Toy Toy Honitsu Mangan. There is 1 3 in a hand, and it's not particularly attached to the rest of the hand, especially having that 2 so called. That 3 may come out.
it might, but not yet.
Kang.
Oh, could see a con here. Oh my goodness, the Rinshan!
Wow.
Rinshan Toy Toy Honitsu doesn't
Rin-
get any extra
No extra
Condora.
value from that, but still a very exciting play.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. Gets that Mongon, will close the gap, and the dealer Sumo here, and all of a sudden you're over 30K and in second place. But we are in all last here. On we has decent shapes in moms. You have a penchant. Too many pairs, I guess, is the big problem with
Yeah,
this hand.
this is an awkward hand, fortunately.
On the right, Ricci Pinfu type hand, but you have the overlap on the 3 mon. Across the way, that looks like a Honitsu, but you have so many floaters, it feels a little slow. On the left, you have the South pair, and honestly, the rest of the hand's pretty bad, but I don't mind the
Yeah,
just call and go to lock in
I
second
think
place over
there's
30K.
really not another option for that hand. I don't think so. Ugh. I expect that.
Well, there's that 5, so that will definitely connect to the rest of that hand.
I'm
Ooh, and
expect.
that 8 so is a huge
Oh
pickup.
wow,
You cut,
that
well,
suddenly makes the hand a decent bit better. I still think I'm expecting Matthew to get to Tenpai first here and just try to, you know, get your Ricci, Pinfu, Dora,
Ricci,
maybe
Sumo,
Yamagan.
Pinfu, Dora, Tanya, maybe even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
And that would be on a Mangan Sumo, that would be a tie for second.
Oh, you're right. It would be an exact tie. Wow.
Pon.
And there's the 1 so pone, as Rachel says, well, if everyone else is going to stall, I'll take my Chinitsu. Still needs a couple draws, but that's one of them. Now just Honitsu, but that is Ishanten.
Maybe my prediction here was too hasty.
Oh, and that is a nice draw. The problem is that 3-5 so is probably coming out, and there it comes. You
Chi.
could chi that, and that is Tempai. Waiting on 4-7 so for Honitsu only. And may come out right here, but I don't think Anwi's ever going to cut this, just given how Anwi tends to play.
Yeah, no, that's firmly stuck there, I think, at this point.
Especially now that you have them connecting to it. So now I'm convinced it's not leaving.
Riichi.
Oh, there's Tempai on the right. Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, potentially Tanya on the 6. Now let's look at the hands. The 9 is completely dead, and the 6 has 1, 2, 2 out. So 2 6-0 left. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora.
7
And Anhui says, "Well, I have to at least get Tempai out of this. Otherwise, a Ricci by third place guarantees he's Tempai."
Right. Yeah, I don't really have a choice. Will we see one last sumo this game?
Oh, that 5 looks terrible.
What is the 2 maybe? No? Oh, the 4. Oh,
Yeah,
the
just
4 is safe.
folding out,
I
hoping
missed.
there's a deal in here. And Rachel says, "You know what? If you're folding, I'm folding too." I like that play by Rachel a lot. Is
Yeah,
if dealer is not willing to fight, you have no reason to do so yourself.
right.
Oh, there's one of the outs. Could get back into Tempai with 4 pin, 5 pin, or 5-so.
And there's
Oh,
the other
there's the
one.
last out. This hand's over. That's actually a really bad draw for Anhui because that very likely causes the 9-so to come out if
It
Tempai is reached
yeah.
on anything other than the
Yeah.
5-so. But won't make Tempai, doesn't matter.
Unfortunate end to this game for Tucker, but
But in the end, Rachel, with those big sumos as dealer, goes on the dealer rampage and ends up with 30.3, putting her at 39 overall and into the promotion zone. There are 9 promotions out of B1 this season. Sarah gets 6.3, salvaging a positive score. You have Matthew in third place with minus 10.7. Doesn't finish that Ricci on the last hand, but does at least get the Ricci stick to mitigate the damage. And Tucker or Ennui with the fourth place, minus 25.9. There were a couple places probably could have pushed a little bit more, but occasionally you just get stuck, and that will happen. Still, we have 3 players here after the midpoint of the season. As you can see, every player in this division has completed their games this session. So we
yeah,
are
this
at the
is the
halfway
last
point
one.
in B1. Matthew, Tucker, and Rachel are currently in the promotion zone, and Sarah is below it, but only by 11.1. So that's a good second or any first.
Yeah, it was off to a slow start, but we see Alec again just kind of dominating this league with that over 1000 EV, extremely high win rate.
I'd say the
This
more impressive one's the average deal in of 35.64 with that win rate. You
yeah,
have that's the secret of this game. Win a lot of value, don't deal in a lot, and don't deal in for a lot of value. Does tend to be the way the game works.
right.
But I think there's a B3 game, and I guess we're going to jump over.
Oh, sure.
Will be, I believe, the last in their session, and it's pretty late at this point. I think it started 25 minutes ago.
Oh, well, we can see. Oh, South one and end of South one.
And just as we come in, we see the 9 come out, which does not deal in because there is no Yaku at the wrong end of the Tanya, but 2 players tempo has moved to South 2. Scallion started with a really good starting hand here. Not much value, though, is the only problem. A few too many pairs, but especially when you pull the 5, so all of a sudden that looks amazing. Just
Yeah,
reach
this looks.
Info, but oh well, now
Hmm.
you even kind of float the option of Cheetoy. The question is, what do you throw here?
I I think as dealer in this position, I'm looking for a repeat over Chitoy. If it's, I'm just gonna try to play it normal if it's faster. But
I would have cut the 6 mon just for this exact scenario, in case you get drawn to
oh
a Baco.
yeah,
The 3 is a pretty good floating tile, and the 6 doesn't really add much when you have this many pairs. But on the
That's
right, we have a
that's fair.
Chun pair, a Dora, which is the double Yakuhai, if that can pair up and get called. But we see two other people have a South Door in their hands. The rest of this hand isn't particularly great. Across the way, we have a decent shape in Mon, but that So shape needs some work. And again, a floating Dora on the
1、
left. A bunch of pairs, including a Hatsu pair, a Shaw pair, and a 7-pin pair. I guess you're probably going
本、
for Honitsu, although if you get Toy Toy on top of it, even
Oh
better.
my god.
Oh my
This
goodness,
is
that's Chitoy Ishanten. That would be potentially Richi, Chitoy, Honitsu, Dora 2.
that would be insane. That's Michi over to
Richi, Honitsu, Chitoy, Dora
that's
2. Yeah,
Paimon.
Baimon minimum. Of course, with Suma and Ura could be San Baimon.
That'll
But
be that'll be really interesting to see if that happens or if it just
if you
ends up
can
getting
make it, it's
called.
always difficult. Ooh, that's an interesting tile to draw. Because the Chun is live at this point, so it cuts the once cut Haku. But the problem with the Chun being live is you figure someone's using it as a pair, and that is
Right.
exactly the case here.
Decides to just cash out this hand.
Yeah, going for the Honetsu, maybe even giving up on the Toy Toy. And yeah, that's definitely makes the hand much more direct now with that 5. Oh, well, there's you're going to see your
本、
Chun. That will be called. I think you throw the Dora. You could get greedy and will get greedy. And you have to wonder, wait, why did the South not come out? But
What
regardless, Tempai
what a
on the
series of
left
draws.
could cut the 6-pin and would be Tempai on 4-7 Hatsu.
Probably trying to figure this out.
Yes,
This
it
is
is an awkward shape.
mm,
No, doesn't get it. It's one you have to have seen before because it's very hard to calculate on the fly.
yeah.
Well, okay, just draw your 9. Now Tempai waiting on that South. Oh no, that's Tempai. It
Does
could
it
come
come
out right
out?
here.
Nope, it
Okay,
does
nope, dodge.
but it
Oh,
does come out here, I bet.
it has
4、
to because you threw one earlier, and that will
Yep.
be Chun Dora 2. You have the extra foo from that Onko for 5,500.
What an end for that hand.
Steven picks up a nice little win there and jumps into first place. And that's a very good starting hand here. And little pause there, but there was a call of the East, and is now Ishan 10. Could take the 2, the 7, the South, the 8, and actually Tempai for Chanta on top of the East.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, if the South comes, you call it and throw the 3, and then you have 3 Han. Of course, the
That's
2 comes, you absolutely take that because it's free. On the right, pretty good hand as well. Ishanten for, well, not anymore. Was Ishanten for potentially Ricci, Ipeco, Dora 2, Pinfu. But
4、
there's your 2.
Does come out.
Ton Chanta,
Not bad.
2,900. Didn't even have time to get through the rest of the table because that's what happens you win on the third discard. And Steven has South 3-1 here. Looks like a Pinfu, Tanyao, also have a Dora shape. If you pair up that Dora, I think you just call and go.
本、
Otherwise, you're fine with this even as normal hand. There's a South call across the way. Not much value in that hand, though. On the right, looks like a Pinfu hand. Now it looks like just a call the Haku and go. Try and do
Mhm.
everything you can to stay above 30,000. Across the way, now you have a pair up of the 1, so you may even keep the option open for Toy Toy. On the left, bunch of tiles in Mon, but I think you're just going to take any reach you can get.
Yeah, basically. I don't know who makes it
Ooh,
first
Dora
here.
draw there by Christine.
It's nice to keep it.
Well, now you've connected, and the shapes are all really good now. I think the
think you
Dora may just have to come
drop
out.
Dora, yeah.
Yeah. And you can tell Amari wants to call this, but you know you can't.
Yeah, that would be an irresponsible call.
Which is say I've done things like that occasionally, but not usually on turn 4. And I think you have to call this 5. The question is, what are you going to cut
Home.
afterwards? But if it's interrupted, we're going to see the 5-mon on the left. And the problem with this play is this isn't going to help you get to 30k. You're going to be deeply in fourth going into South 4. And of course, the worst case scenario is you draw the 9 so and get Tempai there.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand, like,
There's your Dora.
oh well. I guess you've managed to find some value in this hand, so
Waiting on 369, but of course the 9 is not a Yaku, so cannot win on it. Looking at this, you have to throw the 7 back. And the big question is, where are the 6-0? Because we see 2 in hands, but oh, there's a 3, and
it
we'll
comes
deal
out.
in
This
for
does
2,000.
not work
This
in the hand. Yeah.
does have the advantage of knocking Michael under 30k, so closing the gap a bit. And even if you do end up in fourth place, you wouldn't pay out the full minus 20 UMA.
Right.
But we move to South 4.
This hand's
Dealer
pretty
is
good.
Michael. Hands pretty good. You especially want to pull in that 7-so, or even better yet, pair up the 8-so and go for Ricci Pin Futanyao. On the right, a Chun pair, maybe a 79 Sanshoku and Chanta. Lots of value there. Across the way, pretty good hand, especially when pulling that 4-pin, 4-so, or 6-so. On the left, Pin Futai Pam, you have that lone Haku Dora, and may just end up being Tanyao, which, considering you're in first place, is perfectly fine. Four connects the 5. You do have some overlap with the 7-8, but you'll take that for sure. The big question is who's going to throw the Haku in? The first one has come out from the dealer, so I imagine Steven will get rid of that one immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could end up waiting Tonki on it, but at this point,
Yeah, the
doesn't look
first one was
likely.
actually cut across the way by Ari, but yeah, now there's only one left, so it's basically useless to you. And we see Christine trying to make that Sanshoku with the 789, but it'd be very difficult to get it all together.
Yeah. Admirable attempt, though. Trying to find the
Uh,
value to get into first.
ooh, great draw there by the dealer, as Michael is now Ishan Ten Ramen for Ricci Pinfu Tanyao. Well, that's the 4th Haku, and it is useless to everyone. Ooh, nice draw with the 3-so. Now a very wide Ishan 10. I guess not that wide because you need the 369 twice. Do see a call on the right. Now planning on opening for the Chanta, maybe Sanshoku. Well, I guess now it'd have to be Sanshoku. Could just end up being the Chanta. We will see. And of course, the stalemate is still, when does Michael's hand finish? When does Steven's hand finish? And that 5-mon massively helps the hand. Now you can accept all sorts of tiles in so, but Tempai on the right is reached. Will be a win of 1,000 on the 1-mon, and can also win on the Chun for Chanta Chun. And there's an extra 1-mon, and it might come right out, and it does. A Chanta will end it all. Wait, that's not how that goes.
Not quite. And not quite enough Well, just secures the second place here.
Secures the second and says that's fine. Would have liked the 3,900, but it's third row. You take your second in the positives. But the end result is Steven wins with 21.9, Christine with an 8.3, Michael with the minus 6.8, and Amari taking the big hit of minus 23.4. Of course, the stats on the right aren't necessarily in the order you may expect. You'll see a little tiny number next to their names. It's because the B3 division is huge. So they're not just at the bottom. They are lower than 18th, but I believe there are 34 people in this division. It is
Yes. Yeah.
ridiculous. It wasn't quite enough to pull in a brand new beta league like the last couple seasons, but there are a lot of players here. And as a result, a lot of promotions, 11 up to B2 potentially.
And here we have a little bit of an expansion, so we can see more of the standing. And that
Yeah, okay,
does
that's it.
manage to get
I
all
was
34
right.
of them.
You do have the RML logo kind of cutting off the top right, but we'll forgive that because we can do some math if necessary. But I think the story of this division has been Jeff just steamrolling through a lot of this. And I think that fourth was like the last game or second to last game that was played was sitting over on plus 200 and just a for anyone with a single digit deal in, you can see five of them and four of them are spots 1 through 4.
Right.
And it's not like the fifth one is doing that badly either, sitting at 32.8. So when you are in a league with this many people, you need to do things to stand out. That means winning, and that means winning big and mitigating your losses. Because when you have such a wide skill range, which you will in B3, you need to be able to get the points over people that you think you can outmaneuver, and you need to limit your losses when possible, especially against people you think may be stronger than you. So, and that's something that applies to all divisions, but particularly notable in B3. In last season, it was very notable. You saw ridiculous spreads in B2A, which was largely the
Yeah.
people from the inaugural Beta League season
Right.
that were at the bottom, and a few others that were thrown in through random draw. That league had some wild spreads.
It really did. Yeah, that was crazy to see. I think it was definitely like plus 300 and I think maybe even minus 300 by the time it ended. So after 20 matches. So
But you can see here they still have a few games left in this division. But we're closing towards the end because this is Friday and the session ends Sunday. I am told we are going to try to have a mid-season show on Monday. I will not be participating because I have games to play. One of the players in my session 5 is actually going to be going to WRC, the World Reachy Championship, and as a result won't be available to ARML. So I wish everyone a good luck. And you see here with the standings, and of course Steve, Kenyon, Vincent, Luz, Bishan, and Max and Minko all in competition with A1. A1 last season had the craziest split. It has another absolutely crazy split this season. You have a big
yeah,
blob of the top 7. You have 3 that are a little bit behind, and then a huge blob at the bottom again. A 100-point swing between 7th and 8th, and I believe a 75-point swing between 10th and 11th.
something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely wild. Of course, you can see Alec pulling away in B1, Kaz and Zilong, who we covered earlier, pulling away in A2, but they're Sony promotion slots. They're probably fine here. Andrew, Riley, Shane, and Joe leading B2. Now, of course, those are relatively low compared to the tops of some of these other divisions, but they are all in very good position. And we just looked at B3, where we see here 4 players over 100, lots of promotion slots there. They should all be feeling pretty good. So, any closing thoughts?
No, I not really. I think there was some tense hands, some excite the Tucker's Rinchan is gonna be stuck in my head for a bit now.
Can't go wrong with
um,
Rin Shot as the highlight of the stream, especially when you don't see Yakuman. But yeah, I actually kind of think that that's something that jumps out. Is we didn't really have anyone pushing for Yakuman basically at all. There were a couple. Maybe I'll float the Shosushi and draw forward, or maybe I'll float the Daisangen, but the tiles just really weren't cooperating. But it was
yeah,
again
no,
a bunch of games just pretty standard, solid mahjong,
yeah.
rely on standard hand building and pray for aura. Or my final closing thought: just sumo.
Just sumo. That's right.
All right, then. I think that's going to be about it for us. This is Korak along with Michael. Wishing you a good evening. Of course, as always, follow us on Twitter, the website, the YouTube, hit follow on Twitch, all that good stuff. Anything before we close?
No, I don't think so. Just have a good night, everybody, and we will hope to see you again early next week.
All right. We may have a cast this weekend, but it's unlikely. But definitely keep an eye out for a Monday stream of the mid-season hype and review. This is Korak, along with Michael for the American Reaching Mahjong League, signing off.
Signing
Have a
out.
good night, everyone.